I find myself often asking, how do I tell if I'm an adult? I've met older people that are immature and act like they're still in high school, so what does it take to be an adult? The best I could come up with is not dying before you turn 18. So I have a hard time identifying as an adult, especially since I still feel like a kid. That being said, I want to talk with other, quote, adults and learn from them. After all, the quickest and typically the most painless way to learn is through others. Somehow, we're adults. Tommy, well, this is what the second or third time we've tried to get you on the podcast?
It's been a couple times that we tried.
Was it the first time I got sick or something like that? Then you got sick?
I think the first time you were sick, and then the second time something came up, and then the third time I ended up getting COVID.
Yeah. We finally made it. Look at this. Last minute, too. I was just like, hey, man, what are you doing Sunday? Yeah.
Yeah, and then I came down with COVID and just horrible.
What was COVID like?
So I ended up getting the Delta. Wasn't lucky enough to get Omicron.
How do you know?
I think by the symptoms and everything. From what I was told, Omicron's more like a head cold type thing. Delta, I mean, it completely took me out. I thought it was the flu for the longest. It started with like a sore throat, and then it just developed over time. And by like day 5, I was just breaking a fever, just full flu symptoms. But tested negative, and then I tested positive like 2 days later. And then
you tested negative when you had symptoms?
Yeah, so I had most of the flu symptoms, tested negative, and then like 2 days after that, I was like just a mess. So I went and tested again and got positive, and I was like, well, I get a week off of work.
Yeah, I remember when you texted me and you were like, hey man, like I tested negative, but I feel like ass.
Yeah.
And you were like all the symptoms of COVID, but you had tested negative, and then like I was like, okay, man, you should probably like get another test in a couple of days or something like that. And then you did.
Well, yeah, because I had the worst sore throat of my life, and I either was like, it's either strep or I got COVID, and I got a false negative. So Sunday before I went to work, or Sunday before I started work on Monday, went and got tested again, and then it came back positive, and I was like, cool, 2-week vacation.
I mean, it's not really a good vacation though if you're sick the whole time.
It wasn't too bad.
What'd you do the whole time?
What do you mean? I watched Supernatural for like Jennifer got me watching that, and I watched Supernatural, and we ended up watching like up to season 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, just binge watching on Netflix. Sure. Yeah, I actually like it. I didn't think I would because it's not really my vibe, but
but it is your vibe though, in my opinion. It's like you like scary shit.
I do,
but like the supernatural kind of shit.
Yeah, that's more like Twilight type stuff. It's like demons and angels and stuff. But
it's not very scary.
No. No, I've never seen it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Did anyone else around you get COVID?
Who didn't get COVID? 16 people at my job got COVID.
Knock on work.
Yeah. It was going around, and then my roommate ended up getting like some type of illness when she was in Mississippi and brought it back. And man, everyone around me was just sick. So
yeah. Your fiance didn't get it?
No, which is a shame. Because it's not fair that I'm in pain. She just got a week off of work,
Because she was exposed?
Yeah, she was just going to the gym and having a great old time, and I was over there dying in bed, sleeping 15 hours a day.
She's like, I need air.
Yeah.
Fine. Yeah. Well, I'm glad. So you've since, tested negative for it?
Yeah, I tested negative.
Which, can you really fucking trust the tests if you were clearly positive and got a negative?
Yeah, I mean, the worst part about it is I lost my sense of smell and taste, and it's like slowly coming back now.
Well, you've never had any kind of taste.
That's true.
Everything. Been very distasteful your whole life.
Yeah. I mean, it was horrible. Like I was eating Chipotle and like not tasting anything, and that's no way to live.
So wait, maybe I have had Corona then, because Chipotle doesn't taste like anything to me. Chipotle tastes like bland. Like, you don't like good food anyways. What am I talking about?
That's blasphemous to say about Chipotle.
Chipotle is like mild, okay at the best. Like if we're talking, have you ever had Moe's?
Yeah, of course.
Moe's is so much better.
It's not though. Oh. But if that's the hill you want to die on, so be it.
I think it is. Because you can't get can you get bacon at Chipotle?
No. I don't think so.
Okay, that tells me everything I need to know about their business and what they stand for.
It's okay. You're just gonna be wrong.
You know what? At least he probably has internet.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
Tommy does have internet.
I do.
Yeah, you do a lot of online gaming, don't you? Still?
I do.
Yep. How long have you been doing that for?
Forever.
I say like that's like a big thing nowadays. Like
Online gaming?
I missed like not just online gaming. Okay, you made me feel so stupid the way you just said
I was like,
online gaming.
how old are you, dude?
I know you called me.
How about these kids and their online gaming, huh?
It just comes through the air. It's like a telephone in the computer. No, I played online games, but it was always through consoles. Like I missed the wave of people playing PC games.
Yeah.
Because like, I have multiple friends. Colton is a big one too. But like, I have a lot of friends and I just like know a lot of people that I work with and stuff that PC games is like what they're into.
Yeah.
And you're one of them.
Yeah. I think the last console I had was like PS3, and then
That's the current one I have.
hey, it's all right, man. If you like what you like.
I don't have internet, so there's no point.
Yeah. I don't know. I ended up getting like a small Alienware to start off PC gaming, and then I just stuck with it, and I just preferred over console.
What got you into it? Was there like a specific game that you wanted to play? Did you have friends that did it?
No, not really. I mean, I've always played video games since I was like real little, and then I don't know. Just got I was like, yeah, you know what? I mean, Steam was a big thing. Like it's you could just download like a
Steam?
whole bunch.
Oh, when you boil water. Okay, gotcha.
You could like Valve and Half-Life and everything, and then I was like, I thought Gmod was super cool, and I was like, I want to play that, and then
That's Steam.
yeah, exactly. And you could buy basically a whole bunch of games and everything on there, but I mean, Gmod was the one that got into it, where it's just like an open world sandbox type game, and yeah, I got a little rig going on and ended up downloading Gmod, and then just went from there.
How old were you when that happened?
Oh god, like 13. I was like pretty young.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just play video games as like a way to relax and everything, because I don't really have other devices besides the gym.
Yeah.
So
yeah. How long have you been working out for now?
Sophomore year of high school. So,
Yeah, because you played soccer growing up. That was your big thing, right?
yeah, I played soccer, football, track. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So a lot of cardio-based sports.
Yeah, I tried wrestling, and then the JV coach said some pretty flamboyant stuff, and I was like, you know what, maybe not for me.
Flamboyant.
Yeah, because it was the first time I had ever, sparred with somebody, and I went
Is that what
down.
they call it in wrestling?
I don't know what they call it in wrestling.
Well, I get
Like
what you're
said.
saying, though. The first time you wrestled one
Wrestled
of them
somebody,
boys.
sure, and yeah, I was getting behind him. It was my friend at the time.
You're getting behind your friend now.
Yeah. And he said,
Come here, buddy.
He said, yeah, really get in there. And I was on him. I was on top of him. And I'm like, well, without penetration, I really can't get more close to him. But he's like, no, really, like, I want you to press your dick on his ass. And I looked at him square in the face, and I was like, well, at this time, don't think I'm much of a wrestler.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go back to soccer.
Yeah.
So, but you were like a really thin kid, right?
Yeah, I used to be called Skeletor. I weighed 120 pounds when I played soccer. I mean, I'm thin as
120?
Yeah, thin as a
Jesus
rail.
Christ. I remember 8th grade. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 5th grade. Damn.
I was like super, super skinny.
Yeah.
And just got into working out and loved it. And,
So when you're 13, how did you get into lifting weights? You said 13. No, you said sophomore year. I guess that would have been 15 or 16.
Yeah. And my uncle actually had a little weight set. It was a little shitty thing, but thank you.
You're good.
He gave me the weight set, and I started training and everything like that, just doing a little garage gym and everything. And my best friend and I really got into it, and just went from there.
Were you working out together with your best friend?
Yeah. And
It probably helps.
oh yeah, 100%.
Gives you guys something to do besides sell drugs.
Yeah,
I guess.
And that's what I do now.
In addition to
Yeah, that's actually my full-time job.
So Tommy's our newest sponsor.
Street Pharmaceuticals is what I major in. No, but I recommend if you're working out alone, definitely get like a friend.
Oh, it's way easier to start.
Well, not just that, but it's friendly competition. Because if your friend's lifting more than you, you get pissed off and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go
That
up a
sounds
little
like
bit.
some of that toxic masculinity stuff, Tommy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I definitely, I started working out with a friend. That was how I say started. I was already working out in that I was going to the gym pretty regularly, but the workouts that I was doing were like, I would go on the stair stepper for an hour
Sure.
and then I'd leave. It was straight cardio, no lifting weights. If I was lifting weights, it was like there was no method to it. It was like, oh, I'm pushing this until I'm not.
Yeah.
And then it was like, whatever. Like it was not very methodical. And then I started working out with a buddy.
Right.
And my buddy Cody. And it became competitive.
Yeah, and once it gets competitive, it gets fun because it's just like you end up pushing yourself and then you get injured and then you're like, well, you're out for a week and I can keep lifting, so I'm going to get stronger than you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, bitch, I'm going to hit legs 5 days in a row then.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but so how much do you weigh now? Because you've gained quite a bit of mass since being 120, 130 pounds.
Well, I actually am gaining weight back again because of COVID. I was out for a week and I couldn't go to the gym, obviously, and everything like that, and my appetite was just gone. So I weigh 180 right now.
Would you say you're a hard gainer? Like somebody
100%.
Yeah, it's hard for you to gain weight.
So my maintenance calories is 3,400.
Maintenance?
To maintain my weight.
Jesus, son, that's insane.
Yeah, and I'm not super active. I'm not running marathons every morning. It's just I'll go to the gym for an hour a day and call it, that's it.
Yeah.
But that's always been that way. My metabolism's like super fast, and the same with my dad. Both of our metabolisms are like pretty quick.
Yeah. Are you are you someone who like struggles to eat enough calories every day?
100%.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I struggle like with eating a adequate amount of calories because like I will like food. I'm sure Colton's the same way. Like I can easily eat double the amount of calories I'm supposed to have in a day.
Yeah, I wish I had that problem. It's just, for me, it's like I also have like a really low appetite, so it's hard for me to actually muster up the energy to like cook food. Eating becomes a chore at a certain point.
Yeah.
And what I've been
You have to like set like I know people like that are hard gainers. They have to like set reminders on their phone, like eat at this time.
Yeah, because if I don't,
You just don't get hungry.
yeah,
You're not hungry at that time. You just do you drink a lot of water?
yeah,
Like,
half a gallon a day.
Yeah, easily. At the minimum, right?
No, that's like, oh yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So I'm one of those people when I drink a lot of water, I don't if I'm hydrated, it's because I'm drinking water when I'm not thirsty. Because by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated, right?
Yeah.
At least that's what they say. And so like I look at drinking water like it's like, can I ingest water right now without throwing up? And it's like, yes. Okay, then you just slam water until you feel like you're right under the threshold for vomit, and then that's what I do to stay hydrated.
Yeah.
But I drink a gallon a day, like pretty much every day. I might slip up a couple days, but
I got this little Nalgene bottle, and I'll fill that with 2 bottles of water and just drink that at the gym. And then at work, I fill that up again and have that. So it'll be about, half a gallon to a gallon, depending on how active I am during the day and everything.
right. Do you take any kind of supplements or anything like that?
Yeah. I take creatine and just a regular protein supplement.
Yeah. That's it though. You don't no vitamins or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I take ZMA, zinc, magnesium, and acetate. I think that's the word. I don't know.
You don't? Do you take any vitamin D or anything like that?
No, I take a multivitamin and just a pre-workout like every so often.
Do you ever get your blood work checked to make sure like all your levels are correct?
Yeah, I actually got my blood work checked. I want to say like a month or 2 ago.
Everything came back normal.
Yeah, they said my cholesterol was a little high because I was on a diet at the time and I was eating like 6 eggs a day.
I mean, 6 eggs sounds like a decent breakfast.
Yeah, and yeah, it's horrible for your cholesterol though.
I mean, but have you seen I mean, granted, this is straight like bro science, but like apparently cholesterol is not that bad of a thing. Like
certain cholesterol, yeah.
Right, yeah. I don't way above my head. And maybe I should do some more research before I talk about it, but I always say I'm a professional spreader of misinformation.
Did you know eating 12 donuts is actually not bad for you?
Yeah, if you find the right Google search.
Yes.
No, I mean, it's like people who do the carnivore diet. You know what I mean? They all have high cholesterol.
Yeah.
But I guess something to do with cholesterol when they studied it. It was like the sugar industry paid people to make it look like cholesterol was the problem, and in reality, it was like how the sugar industry worked.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I mean, that's the same thing with like fats and olive oil and everything like that. It's like at a certain point they were like, "Oh, olive oil is super good," and they were like, "No, it's bad." And it's the same thing with like a lot of food. Like
diet culture is one of those things, man. They can make quite a bit of money.
oh yeah,
And so like, if they can convince you that what was old 80 years ago is new again today, like, and the hard part is you don't know what to believe because science is ever changing.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The scary thing are those like Beyond Burgers and everything that are just like sludge compressed. It's just I don't know who's eating those.
People who are people who there's people who are vegans for good reason, and there's people who you see all that? Yeah, that was the meme of the time. KFC Beyond Chicken.
Look at that.
It looks like it looks like a piece of like.
It looks like those pink erasers that you'd get in school.
No.
Just fry it.
Oh, I would
Bread it and
disagree.
fry it.
It looks like drywall, breaded chunks of drywall.
Yeah.
That is disgusting.
And the best part is the people that are promoting them are like sickly and they look like they have jaundice and they're like, I'm so healthy.
Yeah, and they're all of them are like people that are just like, oh my god, I'm saving chicken lives, and it's like, yeah, but you're killing, like, I don't know. There's no way that. I mean, it looks like a McDonald's chicken nugget, I guess. If you're gonna,
that's telling you something.
I mean, it's just formed and pressed, like formed and like manipulated. Blended chicken, I guess, is what McDonald's chicken nuggets is. So I guess this is just a different, instead of chicken, it's soy.
That's
Soy's super bad for
and
you,
that's
right?
their promotional photo.
That's the best thing it's gonna look.
This shit looks good.
Yeah. Oh man, like there's like people who what would you call them? Like people who make food look better than what it actually looks like.
Yeah.
They like dress it up. They're like
job.
makeup artists for food. So like what makeup artist was like, well, fuck it. I guess this is the best.
There's no way we can make this look appetizing.
That looks pretty bad. This is, in case anybody was wondering what we're looking at, it's what you've already seen. It's the KFC Beyond fried chicken where it's like sliced in half and it looks like an eraser. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Gross. Now, would you eat it if someone gave it to you?
Probably not.
You're
Smell
racist.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually had no interest in any of this like vegan stuff and the Beyond
like,
Burgers.
What is like, okay, like back engineer this for me. What's the point of being vegetarian if you're eating stuff that tastes like meat? I guess most of the people that are doing it are like people who are doing it for like good intent, I imagine. People who are doing it because they don't want to take the life of another for them to eat.
Right.
But like, do you follow Nature is Metal on Instagram?
Yeah. Oh no, I don't follow them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, Nature is Metal makes me realize it makes me feel less bad about eating animals because it's what I mean. It's like have you seen the anti-PETA shit where it's like how people think a deer dies in the wild and it's like a deer on a hospital bed with all of its deer family around it and a deer doctor holding its hand and it's like, no, motherfucker, it's not a deer dies in the woods. It dies alone in the cold, withering away, or it's a pack of wolves eating it. Like,
yeah, I mean, and I'm sure you've seen the videos of like the cows hanging upside down and they get their throats cut and everything like that. That's a popular video that went around.
yeah,
And I think that's what they're against. They're against like the inhumane treatment of animals when they go through the process.
well, they're against factory farming of
Right.
meat, which I mean, I think even people who eat meat are against because it's fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
So like I'm much more into like you having had hunted the animal.
Right.
Because like when I go hunting and I shoot an animal, it dies immediately.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even know what hit it. It's just eating. Like, this is good. Nom nom nom. Dead.
Yeah.
And all of its friends were like, "What the fuck was that noise?" And Billy fell down.
And you're going to use all the animal too.
Yeah.
So-
Well, I mean, there's most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it's the most expensive meat you'll ever buy because I mean, yeah, it's free to a certain extent, but you have to, get the license to do it. You have to find the area to do it, and you have to drive to get there. You have to buy all the. I mean, you want to go hunting still, right? One day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd go hog hunting. I don't know if I'd go deer hunting.
Why?
I don't know. I've seen deer in the wild, and they're just
You've been compromised by Bambi.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. It's more of like I don't know. It'd be like a spiritual experience in my opinion.
Oh, dude, it really is.
Like I feel like if you were going to deer hunting, you'd have to even the playing field and just go with like a bow or something. You couldn't just shoot it.
Oh, pigs are way easier to kill than deer.
Yeah, pigs I feel nothing for.
No, I mean like if you're bow hunting deer, like that, because deer are way faster, way more. They're way quiet. Like deer will have walked up to like unless you're actively looking for them, they're way more camouflaged. Like most of the wild hogs are like black. So like as they like walk in, they stick out from the background of like green and browns and stuff like that. They stick out very well. But then when you get like a tan colored deer, it's like, I mean, they blend in very well.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I feel nothing for hog hunting or anything like that. I watched this one video of this Australian guy just walking up with like a 12 gauge and shooting one in the skull. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But it's like if I see somebody shoot a deer, I'm like, I don't know.
You feel more empathy for
Yeah.
the deer. Yeah. I've never shot a deer. I do feel like more like similar to what you're saying, more empathetic towards deer. Like I feel empathetic towards both. So like whenever I've shot wild hogs, it's kind of like you shoot them and you're like every time I've shot one, I've been thankful when it dies. Like when it's I'm like, okay, thank God. Like it was worth all the training, it was worth all the time up here. Like I shot it, it fell, it's dead, it died immediately. Like I hope there was like no amount of suffer in it whatsoever.
Right.
You know? And it's like it's a religious experience almost.
Yeah, 100%. I imagine it is.
Yeah. It's not like killing a mosquito. To act like those two things, this like taking a life of a mosquito. Like mosquito, I'm like, fuck you, get off me. But then like killing like something that's, you know, got organs and
yeah, it's a live animal and everything, and in reality, we live in such a time where you don't have to do it. And so, I mean, it should be treated as like a spiritual experience.
Yeah. People who hunt and do it for just trophies, I don't understand that.
Oh yeah, that's the people that go to like South Africa and stuff like that and hunt
Not
like,
necessarily.
rhinos and whatnot.
Not necessarily. I've heard stories of people who do it like I've heard stories of people gut shotting pigs so that they run away and die days later.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's like, how the fuck do you do that? That's, to me, I can't. I don't know anybody that does that. I've just heard stories of people that I don't know that have done that, and it's like, how do you have? Like, I don't understand people that could do that. Like, if you're doing it, you have to do it in the most honorable, like I get it if you don't want to eat wild hogs, but like at least shoot it in the head. You know what I mean? Like kill it instantly. And if you're not going to eat it, like donate it to like somebody who would eat it. Like I don't understand I guess I don't, maybe I've just never been in the situation, but like, you know how they like do like helicopter hunts in like Texas?
Yeah.
Like, I've never understood just going through and killing a bunch of them and then just leaving them to rot. I guess if you think about it as like an ecosystem standpoint, it makes sense. But I just can't imagine killing.
The population's so huge.
Yeah, and it's not like that pig's not gonna get eaten. It's gonna get eaten by, you know, into the ecosystem, and you know
they're a nuisance to farmers also.
Yeah, they destroy a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I'm, as far as the gut shot thing goes, I can't be down with that.
People are psychopaths. I mean,
yeah. So speaking of which, show everybody your shirt. Tommy, for everybody who's listening, Tommy has got a shirt that he designed, and it's got a picture of the Taliban wearing like U.S. military equipment, and it says
when we
"Build"
pulled out of Afghanistan.
Yeah, and it says "Build Back Better." So, how many shirts do you have now, as far as like the ones you've designed?
I designed, I want to say like 4, and they pulled one for copyright. 1984 was the George Orwell one, and yeah, apparently they the foundation copyrighted. They wanted to copyright the year 1984, and then on top of that, they wanted to copyright the saying on the back.
They own 1984.
That's what they wanted to do, which is.
It's gonna happen.
We own 1984, you peasants.
Yeah, and I mean, I started designing T-shirts is just as like a fun thing because I was like super bored one night, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I could design a T-shirt, and you just go to YouTube and you watch like, you know, an hour video, and you're just like, yeah, okay, I got Photoshop, so I can do this.
Yeah.
And then I designed a T-shirt. It was the first one. I think this was the first one actually. Designed it, posted it up on a Teespring, all within a day.
What's Teespring?
It's a website that you can you upload your photo to a t-shirt, and then you pick like the style of clothing. So they have like sweaters, t-shirts, and everything like that. And then you post it, and people can buy it directly from them. And then you make like a commission off of it. Because I mean, the t-shirts to make are like $10.
Yeah.
It's basically just the material, and then they laser print it on it.
Which you pay for the cost of them using the machines to do it. Right.
And then they make money, and then you make a little bit of commission off of it based
Right.
on how much you charge people for, or how much you set the price for.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's amazing.
So you get to set the price. They don't set the price.
Right, I can set
That's
the
cool.
price. Yeah, but I'm not. It's not like a job or anything like that. I just did it for
fun,
shits and giggles, and so I kept them pretty low, like $24 or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like a $2 commission.
Yeah. How many different ones do you have?
I just have like 3 that are posted right now. I have the Island Boys one, which is excellent. It's Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Clinton.
Tell me, can you tell Colton where to find these shirts at?
Oh, I don't. It's a Teespring site. You'd have to. It's a long like URL. It's nothing that's custom or anything.
Is there a way you can go to Teespring and search it up? That's T as in TEE Spring SPRING. Now, how do you discover creators and their products? Is there a way you can search?
Let me see.
Because we definitely got to find this Island Boy shirts because that's hilarious. I like how you released it too, like right as that whole Island Boy.
Oh yeah.
The Island Boy dudes was happening.
Just hopped on the trend. My store's called A Fate Worse Than Death. The URL is super long because it's not a custom thing.
Yeah, he's gonna try it. Worse Than Death. Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's a different. But so just so we don't have to. Well, Colton searches if he can find it. The Island Boy shirt is a picture of Jeffrey Epstein
And Bill Clinton
and
again.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
It says Island Boys.
Yeah. It's a little bit tongue in cheek.
To who? To those two fucks? Who gives a shit? Just kidding. Bill Clinton's my favorite president ever. They were just friends.
Yeah. Nothing
Just
ever happened.
friends, bro.
It's all rumors.
I only flew on his plane 27 times.
It's business expenses.
No, I didn't know about any girl. He's never had any problems with any woman before, okay?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, him and his wife, Monica. I mean, what's her name?
The other
Hillary.
one. The other
Hillary,
one, yeah.
No, man. That was a funny ass shirt. And then what's the other shirt? You have another one on there right now?
Yeah, Starve the Beast. It's it's got a rune on it, a Viking rune on it.
Is that what that is? Because I didn't understand that one when I saw it the other day.
Yeah, the rune just basically stands for like spiritual connection to nature and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. Just something you liked?
Yeah, just because I'm big into like kind of doing your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, like getting your own farm, doing homesteading and stuff like that.
What do you mean?
What do you think? What do you mean?
Like talk more about that. Like we've not talked about this before. What do you mean?
I mean, ideally, like in the future, I could have my own property and grow your own crops and everything. And
You want to be self-sustaining?
live off the land, yeah.
Yeah, that's a big thing you're into. Now, where can people find, since Colton's struggling to find this?
If you go to my Instagram,
Yeah, on your Instagram, you have it linked in the bio. What's your
yeah.
Instagram name?
it's just Thomas_Hirtzel.
How do you spell Hirtzel?
Hirtzel.
Okay, so check him
thinking.
out. Thomas Hirtzel.
Hirtzel.
Hirtzel. Okay.
There's an Alex Hirtzel? I didn't know how to
Shout out Alex Hirtzel. There's a Hirtzel.
Dr. Thomas Hirtzel. Interesting.
Okay. We're just going to give
It's
up.
fine.
We're just going to
It's
give up
fine.
on your shirts. But basically, people, if you want
They're
to find
not
it,
that great anyway.
go to your Instagram. They're pretty funny. They're pretty funny. So if you're if you want to support my boy Tommy, give him like $2, please. Get yourself a shirt.
a whole $2.
Are they comfy?
They're super. If you feel the material, honestly, like,
Oh, dude, that's like a nice cotton shirt.
yeah, it's the
Yeah.
tri-blend or whatever. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just, because you can buy a sample as a creator for like $16. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to buy my own t-shirts and everything.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the quality.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do more business with them and everything and do all my prints through them.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll come up with some more funny ones, I'm sure.
Yeah, if I'm not creative.
I was thinking too, whenever you posted those shirts, I'm like, man, like I really want one, but like, where the fuck would I wear this at? Feel comfortable.
Yeah, so I wore this T-shirt. We went out to Texas Roadhouse, and I felt comfortable there. I'm like, there's mostly white people here.
Whoa, whoa!
And then we went to Tampa, and we went to the Walmart there, and I was like, I'm getting some dirty looks.
Maybe turn this inside out.
Yeah, I'm getting some dirty looks here.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now that you're making shirts, like, so what's your future plans? What are your future plans as far as like the shirt thing is just for shits
Nothing.
and
Yeah,
giggles?
it's just for a little
just for
hobby
shits
that
and
I'm
giggles.
doing on the side.
So are you planning on, like, because you're getting married now?
Unfortunately.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're fianced.
Mm.
Yeah, I know. I feel the same way. So you excited to like get married? What's the idea with that?
No, I'm not excited at all. Actually,
Nervous? You know, like
it's
seeing
horrible.
people? You're gonna be the center of attention.
Yeah,
you and one other person.
That's the thing is like, because I'm antisocial, so being the center of attention is not something I want to do.
Yeah.
It's a pretty sore subject right now, actually, about the whole wedding planning thing. We're still trying to figure. We're still
the scab.
We're just trying to figure out, a venue and
Bro,
everything.
you could spend a shit ton of money on a wedding.
It's criminal, honestly.
Dude, if you get a self-sustaining piece of land, you could start your own fucking wedding venue.
It's probably cheaper for me to buy land and do a wedding there than it is to actually book a venue.
Yeah, and then turn around and sell it. Yeah, I'd bet. Yeah, we're opting for a really cheap option when we get married. We're not spending a bunch of money. Yeah, there's been a lot of memes going around, I guess, with our generation where we're like, fuck spending a lot of money on a wedding. Let's just sign the papers and go on a nice ass honeymoon. And we're kind of doing that theme. We're kind of just going with that.
That's what Jen wants to do. She wants to...
Jen being your fiance.
Yeah, she wanted to go to the courthouse and just spend the money on the honeymoon. And I was like, we'll do like a ceremony or something small. And I mean, we inquired about a bunch of venues, and they were like, yeah, our starting package is, $20,000. It's like, oh, okay. Well.
You're like, excuse me? Excuse me.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like I said, it's a pretty sore subject right now. We're still trying to figure everything out.
Yeah. Well, my thought with it is it's only one day.
Yeah.
And to spend starting at $20,000.
For one day.
Not even a full day.
Yeah.
Like, how much is a Disney pass for the weekend? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
like,
insane, and just how much it is. And yeah, my whole thought process is like, I'm gonna spend, let's say an average budget one here is probably like $10,000, and I'm like, I'm gonna spend $10,000 to spend a day that I'm not even gonna enjoy.
It's gonna go by too fast. People are gonna be staring at you.
Yeah,
because with you, like,
and you have to
drink the entire day.
Just be completely plastered on my wedding day.
Yeah.
No, but
that's what you have to do.
Yeah, the bride and the groom spend more time entertaining everyone else than they do actually enjoying their wedding day.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, you know what?
Everyone says too that gets married that the day goes by super quick. Like,
yeah.
Like you like blink and it's over.
Yeah, and
for $20,000 you blink and it's over.
Yeah, I'd rather spend that money on a honeymoon and go.
How
for like
nice
a
would a $20,000 vacation be with just the two of you?
Amazing, honestly.
$20,000, like,
yeah,
2 weeks, $20,000 vacation.
Yeah,
bro, that'd be Mac Daddy.
So,
and that's, to me, my thought with the spending $20,000. So let's say you spend $25,000. You spend $25,000 on a wedding. It's super nice, gorgeous, it's a beautiful wedding. But you just bought everybody their dinner. That's like 100 people, which 100 people is not a lot of people. When you list like your whole family, her whole family, your close friends, her close friends, I bet you're at 150 people.
We're at 32 people.
Yeah.
32 people in total.
Yeah. That's nothing. Compared to most normal people though, like I would say the average people, 100-person wedding is like normal.
Yeah, I mean, I hate people.
Right.
So there's very few that I want to be at my wedding.
Right. Let alone spend a moment with.
Yeah, exactly. So we're excluding Jen from that list.
Oh, Jennifer, I'm sorry.
So now we're down to 31 people.
And Tommy's dead. Yeah. No, I just don't see, and to me, it's a horrible way to start a relationship too, because Who just has $25,000 chilling for a wedding?
Nobody.
All right.
So you have to figure
or it's
out.
very few and far between. Most people who have that much money just chilling around probably want to spend more than that on their wedding anyways. And it seems like that plus college would be just a horrible way to start your married life, because then now you're financially in the hole.
Yeah.
And you're one taxable entity together.
Well, I mean, most of the weddings have to be paid off. The venues that we looked at had to be paid off before then. So I'm like, we're gonna have to figure out how to come up with,
You're not gonna be able to do anything.
$12,000 within like 6-7 months, and I'm like, that's stupid. We might as well. My idea is spend like $2,000, have a little ceremony at like a chapel, invite your immediate family and your friends, and then just do a cocktail hour and call it a day.
Yep.
Go to the courthouse, do everything officially and whatnot, and then spend the rest of the money that you would have spent on a wedding for a nice honeymoon.
Yep. Have a nice party.
Yeah.
Have a nice party. And that's what I'm encouraging as many people as possible to do, is just have a nice party. Have people over, get like have something catered or cooked or something like that. Like spend, like you said, like $2,000. $2,000 you can feed everybody for $2,000 relatively easily.
And I don't know if it's like a woman thing or not, but like, do you give a shit about like wedding planning in general?
Yes. For sure.
Legally, you have to say that answer.
Yeah, 100%. That's all I think about.
Okay. Women will spend literally hours on end on Pinterest comparing themselves to like their ideal wedding. And they're like, we have to have a hashtag. And I'm like, who? What?
It's
who cares?
Want to marry him so bad at Hirtzel's.
Ooh, I cringed so hard. That is the worst thing you've ever said.
That's gonna be the thing at your wedding. Want to marry him so bad at Hirtzel.
No, but they compare themselves to their friends that have money and everything like that, and it's just it's a nightmare, and it's just like.
And they look at pictures that somebody who got paid $6,000 to take those pictures
100%
put on
professional
Pinterest.
photographers and everything like that.
Yep.
And it's on the island and everything's perfect and the wedding dress is perfect and the decor is perfect.
The chicken marsala was cooked so tender.
Everything is so great and wonderful.
The creme brulee cake that we had was just perfect. Like just bullshit.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna start a business and you want to make a lot of money,
oh yeah, because you can just make a basic cake and charge however much, and just be like, yeah, it's a wedding cake.
Yeah. It's like cake, $20. Wedding cake, $220.
Yeah, exactly.
Easily. Just because you added the word wedding in front of it.
Yeah, it's all a scam.
Yeah, I want, because like, I guess for girls it's different than guys, because girls like grow up and like they want to get married and like have the wedding, and like that's like a big day to have the most like them focused time. You know what I mean? Like it's focused solely on them, and it's this big moment, like you're getting married, like, hey, you're not so crazy that no one can love you. So now you're getting married.
I'm gonna bite my tongue.
And so they get married, and they want it to be this like perfect occasion, because like honestly, let's be real. If we're talking about weddings being like venues marketing to people, they're marketing solely to women, because I feel like most dudes don't give a shit
100%
about the actual wedding. They go, okay, I'll be there. Where do I stand? Right there. Okay. Cool. Do I need to do anything? Nope. Stand there. Okay, cool. What do I need to say? And then the guy's like, repeat after me. And you're like, oh, fucking thank God.
Especially like for us, because we've been in a relationship for so long, it's just like, it's just a day. Like, it should be just a day for us and everything like that. We'll just get married, whatever it is, and call it a day.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm way hyped about the honeymoon.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
have you guys decided what you're going to do for yours?
our plans right now are to go to Ireland.
Bitchin'.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool. How long are you going to take?
About a week.
Just 1 week.
Yeah.
I can hook you up with one of my friends who went to Ireland and did the most.
Well, I am getting married, so you don't need to do that.
Well, I will put you in contact with one. Is that better? I'm going to put you in contact with one of my friends who went to Ireland and did a really bitchin' like full road trip tour of Ireland. I think it was like 9 days or something like that, and did it for relatively cheap.
Yeah.
That would be. I've always wanted to go. I've just never been overseas. Have you been to any other countries before?
No. I've been to like 3 states in here. That's what about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you plan on like traveling a lot as you get older?
Hopefully, yeah. That's the idea.
What's your scene? Are you more of a beach person or more of a
Not at
mountain
all.
person?
Mountain person.
I figured as much. Everyone who's listening, and I mean people who, even if you're watching, can't see Tommy's chest, but Tommy has like a mountain tattoo. He has like a mountain tattoo.
I do.
I knew the answer before I asked it. I just wanted to let everybody else know. Yeah, I'm much more of a mountain person too, which is crazy because I was born and raised in Florida, which is just a flat like nothingness surrounded by water.
Yeah. I mean, I was born in New York, and then we moved here, and there's nothing here.
You were born in New York?
Yeah, Long Island.
Oh, you're a communist.
Yes.
I didn't realize you supported Putin.
Yes.
How old were you when you moved here?
Like 5.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've been here pretty much my whole life, but I don't consider myself a Floridian.
What do you consider yourself? A New Yorker?
Yeah, something like that.
No. So you're...
It's just cool to say I'm from the North.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel like you're in Game of Thrones. It's way cooler than it sounds.
What'd you guys move here for?
I honestly, I couldn't tell you. I mean, we have family down here, and we moved, and we don't even talk to the family. So
Yeah?
we're just kind of here. Yeah. Warm weather, I guess.
Yeah. Do you remember living in New York at all?
Very little of it.
Yeah.
There's a couple spots I remember and everything. Like if I go on Google Earth, I can still navigate around where we used to grow up. But
So are you glad you don't have a New York accent?
I'd love the New York accent, actually.
Why?
I don't know. It just sounds great.
You just like to have an accent.
My dad still has it. He'll say water.
Cuts the R's short.
Yeah. And coffee.
Oh.
And stuff like that. It's great.
Oh, does that make you cringe?
No, not at
'cause
all.
you
I'm
grew
so
up hearing
used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. See, we were like my grandparents. I'm pretty sure we're from Florida. So like I'm so baked into the Florida thing.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of the heat, man.
I mean, it's not horrible. The humidity is horrible.
Yeah.
When it's like 110% humidity, you
Like
walk out.
sweating inside in the AC.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. When you played soccer, did you notice the heat a lot then, I'm assuming?
Honestly, no, not really. I was so used to it and everything. I was also a lot darker because I tan pretty easily, and playing in the sun, people thought I was Spanish.
What's your like ethnic background?
Mostly white.
Yeah. Well, I meant like what white country you come from? Where your white folk come from?
So mostly German, Irish. I did the 23andMe thing, and it was a bit of a surprise because I'm also 20% Native American.
Really?
Yeah.
That's probably why you like the mountains so much and like the woods. Like
Yeah,
legit.
yeah.
Like, cause like I should probably do that one of these days. I just don't want the government to have my DNA.
They can clone me. They're not gonna get much.
But I'm curious how much Native American I am.
Yeah. And that's from my mom's side because my dad did his, and he's like 90% European, and so he's white as could be.
Yeah.
And from my mom's side, it's Spanish, Peruvian, and then Native American.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of Spanish.
I'm a
in you?
mutt, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like every white person is, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm pretty sure this is just stories, and I might be butchering the story, but my mother's grandfather, so it would be my great grandfather, he was apparently like full-blooded Indian.
Yeah.
And he...
Indian or Native American?
I don't know what to say. Native American?
Yes.
Yeah. For sure. Like
This is a progressive podcast.
I'm tiptoeing around people's feelings. No, he's a like straight up Native American. Like so much so they'd be like going on like hikes in the woods with their grandfather.
Right.
And like apparently this is just a story. I don't know how true it is. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But apparently he used to like there'd be like a rattlesnake on like the path, and he would like stop and like hold the kids back, and then he would grab it. He would like catch it by the head, and he would crack it like a whip and break its neck, and then just throw it to the side and just keep walking. Like, I don't understand how the man was able to put pants on with balls that big, but that's some savage shit that I feel like you can't make up a story about.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. So I don't like when you call me white. No,
Yeah.
Because that was my great grandfather. You asshole.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna know that story. But yeah, it was pretty cool. My mom had no idea, and it'd be nice to know, like, what certain tribe or whatever you came from. But
23andMe doesn't go to your Wamapoke.
no, nothing like that.
No, they don't tell you what
That'd be
casino
pretty
you
sick.
belong to.
No, it'd be nice to get
Understand.
reparations.
Yeah, to understand. Yeah.
I file taxes and they're just like, yeah, here's your casino.
Yeah,
Like,
here,
"Yeah,
oh,
cool."
you no longer have to pay money anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're white as snow.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen any documentaries about like anything to do with a casino? And there's some white dude named like Frank walking around. And he's like, yeah, I'm Indian. I'm like, no, the fuck you're not.
So he's
You're
like-
Indian on a technicality.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a. You ever watched the TV show Dirty Money on
No.
Netflix? So it's a TV show documentary series, and each episode is on a different like premise. Like the episode I'm specifically referring to, there was a guy who was in a state. I want to say it was Kansas. It was one of those flyover states, and he was running a money laundering, not laundering. What's the money loan? Payday loan business.
Okay.
And it was illegal to have payday loans in that state. But he found a technicality, which is he listed his business address as an Indian like reservation. So the Indian reservation doesn't fall under the laws of that state because that's how Indian reservations work, I guess. Native American reservations, whatever you call it. And so because of that,
Yeah, you're already canceled. That's fine.
whatever. I don't have any. I don't make any money doing this. Whatever. But so he was able to run this payday loan business in a state with no other payday loan businesses, and I think he was one of the first people to do it online too. So he was making money hand over fist, and his business where it actually wasn't on an Indian reservation, but they had like apparently like they went, if you follow what shows as the business address, like you end up going to like this one building with like a receptionist and one other dude and the one dude that works there is this dude who is the white dude that, I mean, he literally looks like a rancher,
Yeah.
like an old rancher. He's like, I'm a whatever kind of Indian, and you know, people, we get a royalty for people's businesses being here, and then we just put this, like basically that was like their thing. That's how they made money, is people would pay them to put their business address there so that they could avoid certain
They had a
laws.
book of all the different places that
Yeah.
were listed at that.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my God.
yeah, and that business, that payday loan business was so technically he wasn't breaking any laws, but it might have been like
Morally vague.
it was fraudulent.
Yeah.
And they were like, I mean, payday loans are like a terrible thing
Yeah.
because they're prying upon the poor people. I mean, the average, they were like, one of the things they talk about in that documentary too was like the average interest paid on a payday loan is like 200%. Because it's like you're getting loans on like $200.
Yeah.
And so by the time you actually pay it off, you've paid in $500, but it's just spread out over time.
Yeah.
And most of the people who have to get a cash advance on their paycheck are not people, like if you need a cash advance on $500, you need the $500 on Tuesday instead of Friday when you normally get it. Like that's clearly somebody who's hurting for money to begin
Yeah.
with. And so these people would have problems paying their stuff back. And so they would get these late penalties and like all this stuff. Well, the guy who ran the business was like worth like $480 million after like over the time of having to do it. And he started, he got into like Formula One racing because when you make that much money, I guess you just get really rich and really bored and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, sure.
So he got really big into like Formula One racing. It was like all over the news and shit like that, and just clearly like living like Larry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just being extravagant. And I guess he got in trouble with like the FBI and stuff like that. And he's like, "Well, I was following the laws." I'm like, "Yeah, but you were a little
You're a little scummy.
yeah, it's a little Wolf of Wall Street. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
yeah.
lie. Like that's a little like
Yeah, you're
like,
preying on people.
that's rich people crime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like rich people crime is different than like robbing a bank.
Oh yeah, I know. I worked at the probation office. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
You look up like white collar crimes and stuff like that, and people are like, $4.8 million in the hole.
Yeah.
Like just how much they owe back because they committed insurance fraud or something like
Yeah.
that. And just like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, white collar crimes are crazy because then you like look at like the Wolf of Wall Street and he's like they all moved to Florida. That's the funniest part, and like they all moved to Florida because like there's something to do with the taxes and like you can like somebody like O.J. Simpson lives in Florida.
Yeah. Epstein lived in Florida.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Was that his main residence? in
I
Florida?
have no idea.
I believe it was.
I think I watched a little bit of the documentary when it first came out, and
Yeah.
I don't remember much from it. But
Yeah, he. I'm pretty sure he had what, a house in New Mexico or Arizona. It was one of those states, and then he had a house
in
in
New York,
West Palm Beach, and then the island.
yeah,
From what I understand, that's crazy. He had like the whole Epstein thing's weird.
yeah,
You like your Epstein shirt?
I do.
Yeah,
think
that's
it's
pretty.
pretty-
That's pretty funny. Island Boys. Yeah, that was. Did you come up with that yourself, or did you see a meme on it or something like that, and then make the shirt?
There was somebody that posted a picture of it, and then one of the comments said Island Boys, and I was like, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
So I just like, yeah, combine and make a T-shirt, whatever.
yeah. That was a good time. But so basically that payday loan thing, like it was just funny seeing this guy who's just like, no, I'm losing everything. All my bank assets are frozen. I'm like, you preyed on
Boo-hoo.
poor
Yeah.
people, bro.
Sucks to suck.
Like you set your business up in a way to where it's like close one eye and like hop on one foot legal. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's very, very like
yeah.
questionable.
You start transferring money to Swiss bank accounts. It's like, wait, what
Yeah.
you're doing is probably not legal.
Yeah, now my kids have to go to public school. Like, it's just great. And they're like towing away his like Formula One multi-million-dollar racing car. It's like, and he's just like, I don't even want to see it. And he just like gets on his Peloton in his home gym at home, and he's just riding his Peloton. They're taking everything from me, motherfucker. You're in a private gym right now. It's got glass walls.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking
It's like,
about?
you're fine. Don't worry, you're fine.
Yeah. I'm telling him, but whatever. That's a good show. You should watch it. Highly recommend. It's called Dirty Money.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different episodes.
I try to avoid Netflix at all costs just because this is a waste of time for me.
Yeah. You find yourself watching much TV anymore?
Not really. I mean, cooking shows is pretty much about it, and then like sports occasionally when it comes on.
Yeah.
But
You're a big fan of the Bucks. It's one of the things you were worried about today. The Bucks are playing.
I was gonna bet money on it. That's why I was worried on it. Yeah.
Sports betting? You do much sports betting?
No, I know nothing about it.
Well, I got a friend who does a lot of sports betting, and I'm learning more about it. And
For disclaimer reasons, he lives in a state where sports betting is legal.
no, he lives in Florida.
Okay.
No, there's legal ways to do it.
Not that I know of in Florida.
You have to. There's legal ways to do it. That's all I'm gonna say. I haven't done it, but there is online sports betting you can do. I don't know if it's just one of those things where it's like old people are regulators and they don't understand technology, and so there's a technology loophole that I know about right now.
It's just insane the fact that it's like, I pay taxes. Like, I should be able to bet on a sport with my own money.
No. Nope,
Yeah.
I disagree. You shouldn't be able to drink either.
It's ridiculous. It's like, who are you?
But they want 16-year-olds to vote,
Yeah.
and they can't figure out technology.
Yeah.
They're like, Mr. Zuckerberg, how do you make money?
How do
what
you-
the fuck?
What is an instant message?
This instant, is it a graham cracker?
Now,
This
what is
Instagram cracker?
What is a metaverse?
This Meta? Is that
Yeah.
No, I think it's this is something I want to ask you, and I feel like I know what your answer is going to be because I feel like you hate the government. But do you think there should be an age limit to somebody who works for the government?
Yeah, 100%.
And what would it be, and why?
Wow, this is.
Let me. I know. I'm asking you on the spot, and you haven't had no time to think about it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I think about it. I think if you're old enough to collect government retirement, being Social Security or Medicare, Medicaid, government in like old people government insurance, then you should not be able to work in a political office anymore.
Yeah, there should be term limits.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 4
There,
years.
I don't understand the arbitrary like minimum age for president. I don't understand why that came about. I should research that more one of these days. Can you Google why there's a minimum age for presidents? Because like, you know, who's like a young guy that would be really good for president? Like, you know, Justin Bieber should be president.
I mean, Kanye was on the ballot.
Yeah, but like, why does the president candidate need to be 35 years old? So the minimum's 35. Captain Morgan is proposing to eliminate any age requirements for citizens to serve as president of the United States. This ad stunt does raise a question with an interesting constitutional background. The Captain, read a little bit of that, Colton, and let me know what it says.
I'm sure it has to do with like competence. Like they think at a certain age that you're like fit for office.
But would you say that our current president is competent compared to a 35-year-old?
No.
No, I'm saying a 16-year-old would do just as good.
It genuinely is sad if you watch like some of his speeches. It's just like it's almost elder abuse that the man is so old that he can't form a sentence.
Yeah, it's sad because the way I've always looked at like the president, or I say always, the way I've looked at the presidency recently is like you should incentivize the best people in the country to do that job because it's an impossible job.
Yeah.
And you're not incentivizing anyone to do it at $400,000 a year. You know, they have it. They upped the president's yearly salary to $400,000 a year in 2000, like the year 2000. It hasn't changed since then. And you understand finances roughly.
Yeah.
Like the average rate of inflation is 3 to 4%, right?
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me in 22 years they haven't adjusted that up? Like if you worked at a job and they haven't given you a raise in 22 years.
That sounds about right. I mean,
Like, I mean, $400,000 a year is a lot to like people like you and me
Sure.
and Colton, right? But to be like when you get out of that role,
the leader of the free world.
when you get well, first of all, when you get out of that role, the entire country and many other countries know who you are.
Yeah.
You can no longer drive your own car anymore on a open like a government road.
Yeah.
And like you can go do, I mean, that's the thing everyone keeps talking about is like you can go do speeches and make more money on a speech
Right.
than you would have made the entire year in the office.
Right.
Like to me, we need to incentivize the president not only to want to do the job, but when you're doing that job, that if you do a good job, have some kind of metric to measure it. Like how good is the economy, the private sector, like how good is like the economy doing? And you can't just focus on just the economy as a whole, because then they would be incentivized to help big businesses get bigger.
Right.
You get anything, Colton?
It's basically just how it was established way back, and they just kept it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. But so like, I think that there should be. What were we just talking about? We were talking about presidents and
They should incentivize it based on how well they do.
because you don't want monopolies to happen.
Right.
Because if the president gets in there and goes, oh well, if I just let Amazon run free and all these top 10 of the 10 biggest companies run free, I'll make more money. But it's like no, you'd want to find different ways to do it. And I'm not a politician, so I'm not gonna do much research into it. But I think that you should incentivize the best people in this country to go do that job.
I don't know. I mean, the president should really just keep the country running and control very little of people's lives, but that's not what we have going on.
The hardest question to answer I've ever been asked is, what is the role of the president? What is their job? Right?
Yeah.
Well, my
Because
business,
it might change depending on people's opinion.
right, and public opinion just in general.
Right.
So, the best answer I've heard was the guy who asked me the question, which was one of my business professors, and he said, the real job of the federal government, not just the president, just the federal government, should be to A, operate the military to protect the country, which is operated by the federal government.
Sure.
So operate the military and to make sure that businesses are all operating on a fair playing field, which in reality they don't do either of those jobs well. No. And have you ever listened to like Andrew Yang talk before?
No.
I think you would really like him, honestly.
The Yang Gang?
Yeah. So one of the things he talks about is like the government's only really good at one thing, and that is giving a large amount of money to every citizen in the United States. Because that is the only thing that they've showed competence in doing. And I kind of agree with it because, like, I mean, I don't really know what else they do very well.
Yeah. Nothing, actually.
Well, like,
It's like a joke when the government's involved in like any project or anything like that. I mean, highways are still under construction. They've been in construction since I moved here.
bro, and the crazy part about where we live is that they increased the tax rate to like it went from like 7% to 8.5%, or it's
Yeah.
like 8.25% or something like that. And the reason one of the portions of that percentage of the tax increase was supposed to go towards construction. And
Yeah,
construction,
like roads and highways.
I have seen no difference.
Yeah, 100%.
I've seen more caution cones maybe, but nothing finished.
That's what they were paying for.
Yeah.
Bob's Barricade's making a mint off of that.
I'm telling you, we should have been in that. We should have been in that business.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I did yeah, I mean, What would you say? Do you have any like idealistic things when it comes to like politics?
No, not really. Just leave people alone.
How dare you?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, though, I think that the president should be incentivized to do a good job. And at $400,000 a year and half the country hating you, it's,
Well, it's also like the political parties. I mean, the country is literally divided.
Yeah.
So no matter what you say, even if you did everything right as a certain party, half the country's going to hate you.
Right. But the other half you can sell speeches to.
That's true.
And make a lot more money. It's crazy because you give up 4 years of your life to do this one job. I mean, it costs a lot of money to run for president, more so than you'll make in the 4 years you do the job.
Yeah.
And then you make a shit ton of money afterwards. It's like, so clearly everything like before and after the numbers are a lot higher. Why aren't the numbers during those 4 years changed?
That's like the one guy that ran for, he's like a trucker and he spent like $1,000 and he's like, I'm going to come in and change everything. And he won. And it's like, yeah, okay. It's just a normal, blue collar worker.
Yeah. I mean, one of the things, what was I just thinking about? I hate how like I'm like in the middle of a conversation and I like lose I'm like, okay, I got to remember to say this. And then I end up listening to what you're saying, which I'm supposed to be doing. And then I immediately forget what I was going to talk about. Probably didn't help that I had drinks at lunch today, but, I know, like, I think that, if you incentivize the president, I think that would be a good, maybe they get like a percentage, like a small sliver of a percentage of how good the country does. Like maybe, I don't know.
What do you base that on though?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Like incentivize, like, oh, how well the economy is doing,
right?
How good our military is,
yeah.
public affairs, stuff like that.
Well, like the military is a weird one too because of like the military like industrial complex. Like we spend more on defense than any country.
Yeah,
and like the second place runner isn't even that close to us.
I mean, like now we need it.
Yeah, the whole Russia thing.
Yeah,
are you talking about?
Yeah,
like, does that have you worried?
Yeah.
That's gonna get drafted.
Yeah, 100%. We're all gonna get drafted.
What happens if we go to war with Russia?
I don't see us winning.
Well, Colton, can you Google search what the United States allies are right now? Because
dwindling by the day.
I was talking with someone the other day and they Googled it and they told me, and I was like, "Oh, we're so fucked."
Yeah.
All right. Other key. Let's see. What the fuck does that? An ally, a country that shares our. Okay, so allies: France, Germany, Japan, South Korea, Israel, Taiwan, Mexico, India. Listen, Mexico is being slept on because if we have Mexico on our side, we don't need anybody else. So it would, according to this fancy little graph Colton's got pulled up, our biggest enemies would be North Korea, Iran, Russia, China, and Saudi Arabia is like middle of the road. So, but let's be real. China and Russia, Iran and North Korea.
Those are pretty heavy hitters.
We are relatively fucked.
Yeah.
Okay, we got Germany, which in reality, Germany's the size of like the state of Florida. Like Germany's not that big.
Yeah.
And those people over there are still pissed about WW2 and WW1.
Yeah, it's still a sore subject for them.
Yeah. So they're just like, we're making our beer and want to be left alone. And then Japan would be a decent one, but I feel like they're really only our allies because we dropped the sun on them twice. You know what I mean? They're just like, ever since then, they're like, hey man, we're friends now.
Hey, everything's cool.
We're friends.
I'm sorry we sunk your ship.
Yeah. What were the other ones? Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter. Mexico.
Israel is the other one.
Mexico definitely would be a great one.
I mean, if we hook up with the cartels and we're like, we'll let you slide a little bit of fentanyl in the U.S. if we can use your trucks.
Let them. I think we're already doing that, Tommy. I think.
Well, I mean, the official statement.
Yeah, I think that. Yeah, Russia, China. When you type in list of U.S. allies, get the fuck. Russia and China are not our allies.
No, not really.
That's what they want you to think.
Yeah. I think Mexico, like I said, they would be the ones because, I mean, like, Mexico's crazy, bro.
I like how North Korea is on that list also.
Yeah, apparently they don't know. Well, I mean, I wonder when that was updated. Yeah, scroll back down, Golden. Let me say that again. So, Japan, I love, like, I would love to go on vacation to Japan. I've heard Japan's
great.
Bitchin'.
Yeah. Nari is one where I think they have the deer that freely roam around. And then,
I've never heard that before.
I mean, Tokyo, obviously.
Yeah.
But-
Yeah, I heard Japan's like a super like futuristic as far as like they're very intelligent with how they do everything.
Yeah, everything's like high tech and everything.
Yeah.
Like everything's vending machines also.
Really?
You can buy pretty much anything in a vending machine in Japan.
Huh.
Make a pizza for you at the vending machine.
Yeah.
Really? My favorite vehicle is like out of Japan.
What's up?
Toyota.
Yeah.
Toyota. I mean, you drive a Toyota.
Yeah.
And then South Korea. I mean, how much help is that? I didn't realize Israel's a country. I'm not gonna lie.
South Korea is our allies because they release a lot of good shit on Netflix. There's a lot of good shit coming out of Korea.
Like what?
What do you mean?
I don't have internet, Thomas.
Squid Games is Korean, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah. Squid Game's Korean. There's a zombie movie, Train to Busan. Excellent movie.
Huh.
Some hitters coming out of Korea.
But their army's pretty big.
Is it?
Well, they have dude, it's North Korea, South Korea.
Yeah.
Like right fucking there, so they have to be.
Yeah, but North Korea leaves them the fuck alone, don't they?
I mean, yeah, but
North Korea is crazy, man. Like, did you ever listen to that podcast with that lady who was from North Korea on Joe Rogan?
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty crazy when she talks about like what they had to do. Like people are just like it sounds like straight death and despair all the time.
Yeah,
'cause,
I believe it.
Yeah, like dictatorships are not a
Not fun.
you know. That's why I feel like that's what so many people in the United States are. They're very against like anything that makes us get one step closer to socialism because they feel like socialism is a slippery slope into communism, and communism is just a military state.
Well, the funny thing is you have all the Cubans coming over and they're like, they see these people that are born in America and everything like that, and they're like, yeah, we're for communism. The Cubans are like, are you out of your mind?
Fucking mind, you fucking like yeah, no, no Cuban that is in the United States, speaking generically, does like favors socialist stuff because like Jessie, who's been on the podcast before, she is Cuban and has been to Cuba a lot, and she says it's fucked over there.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because how much of a hand the United States has had in making Cuba into what it is.
Yeah.
Like I'm reading a book about Coca-Cola right now, and apparently, like I want to say it's in the 1940s. There was a like Cuba. We did a lot of trade with Cuba, like because there was a lot of sugar grown there, sugar cane, and like Milton Hershey, who founded Hershey, Pennsylvania, and like built Hershey chocolate. He spent a lot of money in Cuba. He built like one of the things. So what Coca-Cola did, Coca-Cola was basically a marketing agency that sold syrup, and they wanted to do as little as possible. And so what they would do is they would do contracts with bottlers. The bottlers would buy the syrup from Coke. Coke would give them the syrup, and that's how they saved on shipping costs. And basically Coke's philosophy, or not, their business model was outsource everything except for what they're good at. And they were good at two things: marketing and making the syrup that the marketing sold.
Yeah.
And so they would do bottles. They would they would get all of their supplies from different companies. Like they didn't want to grow their own sugar. They didn't want to produce any of their own raw materials. They would just conglomerate all the raw materials together to make the syrup, and then package that syrup, send it to the companies that added it in water, and then shipped them. And I mean, clearly they did pretty good.
Yeah.
And
excellent marketing.
So in that book, it talks about a contrast to that was Milton Hershey. Milton Hershey did everything.
Yeah.
He did the entire business model, like top floor, like owned sugarcane fields, like bought like cocoa plants and stuff like that. Like he spent a shit ton of money, but he owned the entire operation. He owned housing developments for the people who worked for him to live in. Like he built schools, libraries, like restaurants, like built like a whole community around his business. And Coca-Cola's like, nope, making syrup and marketing. Which, it was at the time, it sounded like you didn't know which idea was better until sugar prices started to change.
Yeah.
And when the marketing, like basically because Coke was so little into other areas, they were able to like change at the drop of a hat. because it wasn't their business wasn't dependent upon it was dependent upon the sugar prices, but they didn't have business in the sugar industry as well that they would also have to adjust to.
Yeah.
So they were able to keep their employee count low because they didn't pay bottlers. Or they paid bottlers, but they didn't own their own bottling operations until relatively recent.
Yeah.
And I'm learning right now, it's a big, thick book. One of the things they're talking about right now is how recycling became about because of a large part because of the soda industry.
Yeah.
Because things my dad has talked about that they used to do a lot is you'd get bottles of Coke, you'd drink the Coke, and then you would take the bottle back to the bottling plant, and you would get there was almost like a bottle deposit, and you'd get the money back when you gave the glass bottle back.
Yeah.
And they would reuse them. They would wash them, sanitize them, and then they would fill them back up with Coke, and they would be able to keep reusing them, so that way you're basically only paying for the Coca-Cola that's in the bottle and a slight bottling fee.
Yeah.
But it might cost 5 cents, but you're getting, that 5 cents back in the deposit. And so apparently at one point they changed to a one-way, I think they call it a one-way container, in which they ship the product out in the bottle, you get the bottle, and you can't return the bottle back to the company.
Yeah.
I think they were starting to do, that's when they switched to cans.
Yeah.
And the cans were originally made out of steel. They're heavy as shit. And it was, I think it was Pepsi that came out with the first aluminum one. Or they didn't come out with it, but they were one of the first big companies to adopt an aluminum can. It's crazy interesting to me. I love reading business books like that. I know I'm boring people.
No, it sounds like you're very heavily interested in what would be a boring topic to other people.
Well, it's just crazy because, so the guy who wrote the book, he's an environmental historian.
Yeah.
And so he looks at the environmental impact, and he was from Atlanta. So Coca-Cola is based out of Atlanta. And that was when he was in college, finishing up his degree, what he started to write his, dissertation about. And because Coca-Cola, everyone knows, when you think about litter, you think about Coke cans and Coke bottles and stuff like that. And he was looking at the environmental effect of Coke, but in order to do that, you have to look at the history of Coke since it was founded and stuff. So
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
What would have more of an environmental impact is the masks, the surgical masks.
Dude,
bad
everywhere.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
I mean, I could walk in the parking lot of my job and find at least 20.
Any parking lot, in any shopping center, and at least find one on the ground.
It's crazy,
dude.
And all that's gonna end up somewhere.
So, how do you feel about the mask thing? Do you feel like it does anything?
No.
Yeah.
No, I think they've had enough studies and stuff like that they show that the mask, I mean, the regular surgical mask, I'm not talking about N95s. N95s, they're going to work, obviously.
Right. Much more designed
but
for
the little surgical masks aren't going to do anything, especially with Omicron and whatnot. I mean,
the surgical masks do more than the cloth masks, though, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Cloth masks are it's just gesturing that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It was just crazy. You had, I mean, countless stories of people just walking down the street and somebody yelling at them across the street. And it's where's your mask? And they're walking outside with nobody around.
What fucking asshole does that?
It's virtue signaling is all it is.
Yeah.
It's
for
just,
sure.
It's people that have never had authority get a little bit of authority and it goes immediately to their head.
Well, I know, I like to think most people do things for good reason and are good people.
I disagree. Most people are assholes.
Yeah. Well, my thought is most people aren't in control of themselves.
What do you mean? They
ride a train of emotions, and their emotions drive what they do and don't do throughout the day.
Yeah.
They don't have the slightest amount of discipline, so they, when they're mad, they're really mad. When they're sad, they're really sad. When they're happy, they're really happy. And they just don't have any they don't have anything that they're not driven in any way. I guess is the best way to put it. If they go, oh, I want to watch TV, they go watch TV. Even if they have other shit to do, they just go, oh, I want to watch TV. They have no discipline.
Yeah.
And I feel like those people will be they'll be out and about and they'll be like, well, I'm wearing my mask, doing my duty. You're not wearing your mask, you fucking criminal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where that comes from. I don't think there's much thought that goes into it for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, you see that in driving and everything. Somebody cuts somebody off and they lose their mind, and it's just you didn't get in an accident.
There's no empathy for others.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's seen all the videos of people screaming about masks and stuff like that. how about you worry about your fucking self?
Yeah, I mean, it's risk assessment and everything, and that's like you're vaccinated, right?
Yeah.
You took the vaccine.
Yeah.
Did you take like the booster or did you get the? It's like, okay.
Yeah, I did the booster as well.
Yeah, so I'm unvaccinated, and I took the risk assessment. I know, Colonel will say.
Me too.
Yeah.
So you're the odd one out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm also the odd one out in that I have a compromised immune system.
Yeah, which is understandable.
Yeah.
Like, my mom's the same way and everything. So
Yeah. But when have I ever called you up and said you should get vaccinated?
yeah, exactly. And like, I took risk assessments, and I was like, I have no pre-existing conditions or anything like that. I'm fairly healthy. I'd like to
Everyone
think.
knows that statistically speaking, the older you are, close to being like over age 70, the more likely you, like if you were 70 plus years old, you'd probably get vaccinated.
Right.
It'd be in your better interest too, right?
Exactly.
But you're a young, healthy individual.
And I took my risk assessment, and I was like, even if I get this, chances of me being hospitalized or dying are very, very slim. So I was like, I'll take it. Because, like, I mean, the vaccine, it's not going to do anything for most people, right?
Especially now that there's variants.
Yeah, 100%. Like, everyone's going to get Omicron, vaccinated or not, boosted or not. I mean, at my mom's job, people are vaccinated, like, double boosted and still got Omicron. So it's going to hit everyone.
It's been crazy, too, like, how the science has changed so much, too. Like, I remember the day when I came home from work and it was like Joe Biden like sitting on the desk like with his, he's like, I can picture it in my head, and he's like propped up and he's like, it's simple. The choice now is vaxxed or masked.
Yeah.
And I was like, you are so dumb. Do you not realize that now, like, that's going to be the complete, like, the effect, and this is the stench that I get from the whole COVID thing, is like, they just want compliance.
100%.
And they're trying to see who all can like comply, and they just like, that was a clear attempt to make all the American people get this one shot.
100%.
And it's like you can smell when someone's being fake with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're being dishonest with me, I can feel it, and I can be like, hey man, like, I don't appreciate
Probably
how
not
you're
with
talking
me
to
because I'm a good liar, but
but I would say most people have a good nose for if someone's bullshitting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we all know what a sleazy salesperson feels like.
yeah, 100%.
And that was, to me, like, they were selling a product that they didn't even really believe in, and they were, it should be, if the vaccine was really something that every like, if it was like polio vaccine,
Yeah.
it should be so glaringly perfect
Yeah.
that no one can refute it. But the fact that everyone can refute it, and the fact that these giant tech companies are like, all like, oh, you can't do that. Like, oh, you need to go get vaccinated. You can't say that it was da-da-da-da-da. We're pulling down your video. Like, that's like, why do you have the authority to tell me that I can't talk with my friend Tommy and Colton and record it? Like, we're going to have this conversation anyways. We're just not going to have headphones on and a microphone.
Yeah, it's too shitty, the stuff that they like did and said everything was misinformation. They pulled down every video.
They pulled down
about
doctors talking about
Yes.
it. That's the fucking, like, doctors who are actively treating COVID people, and they pulled their videos down.
Yeah, and just like the fact that they're going through this whole thing that's like, I mean, in New York and everything, where they're saying, you have to be vaccinated and have an ID to get into certain places and
That's
like
the
events and
same
whatnot.
states that are saying you have to have vax cards to like get in and out of things are the same people who are saying voter ID laws are racist.
Yeah, I that was recent. They were interviewing people, and they were like, I think it was in DC. They had, so now we have to have a vaccine passport and an ID to get in certain places. And they were like, yeah, this is a great idea. I think you should always have your ID and your Vax card no matter where you go. And then they were like, so how do you feel about voter ID? And they were like, it's a completely different topic.
It's racist.
Yeah.
because statistically speaking, like, the black community is the least vaccinated.
Right.
And so by saying you need a vaccine card, you're like specifically targeting those communities of like people who like statistically aren't vaccinated.
Well, I mean, rightfully so. If it's Tuskegee Airmen and all that shit, it's like, dude, the government is not in your best interest. Like, and I'm fully on board with that. Like, fuck that. I'm anti-vaccine mandate, not anti-vaccine. Like,
Right. And see, like, so the vaccine for me is something that was, it's to me, it boiled down to it's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I don't think that the government should be going, you have to do this.
100%.
Like, I think that, like, I listened to my doctors. I talked to my doctors. I thought it over. I talked with, like, my fiance. I talked with my family and was like, okay, all things considered, it would be a good idea for me because we don't know what would happen if I was to get COVID.
Right, and that's risk assessment. You took risk assessment, which every individual should do. You shouldn't be mandated to take something that you don't want to take.
Or it should be so good. The vaccine. My point is the vaccine should be so good that you don't have to mandate it because everyone agrees that it's so good and gets it. But now it started as, oh, you won't get COVID if you're vaccinated. Oh, then it was like, oh, you're less likely to get COVID now that you're vaccinated. And then it was like, okay, well, you might still get COVID, but then you can't spread it.
You won't be up in a hospital.
Or then they were like, you won't spread it. And then they're like, okay, well, maybe you can still spread it, but then you're less likely to go to the hospital. It's like, okay, but you're less likely to die from it. And then it's like, so now they're at the point where it's like, if you get vaccinated, you're less likely to die from it. It's like, okay, how do you know that?
They're like, yeah.
How do you like this? So now that you've got COVID without the vaccine, now we need you to get the vaccine, get COVID again, and then tell me how it feels. But then you have the natural immunity of it.
Well, the other thing is like, yeah, you can do testing and all that stuff and get the vaccine for free, but the antibodies test costs money out of pocket.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's just been a bunch of bullshit too. And then you hear like going back to Joe Rogan, like he's the biggest show of like all time right now, like repeating show of all time, and like to hear like everyone's attempt to like get him like de-platformed,
yeah,
and it's like all he's doing is having open and honest conversations that everyone else is having, just not as high level as he is.
Yeah,
because they're not gonna be able to talk to the same people he is. But like, isn't it a good thing that he's having these conversations?
Yeah, and I think it's a little bit concerning when like news reports come up and they're talking about COVID and they have the stock prices going next to it. Like, yeah, Pfizer's stock market price and everything. And it's like, yeah.
I watched, do you know who Lex Friedman is? Lex Friedman's another podcaster, but he's been on Joe Rogan's podcast a lot. He's a great guy. He's a Russian dude. And he has his own podcast. It's called The Lex Friedman Show. And it's a real creative name. But he, he had a podcast with the CEO of Pfizer.
Yeah.
And I know I'm probably going to get assassinated for saying this, but that man
he
has a Russian accent. And I guess him and Lex are both from Russia.
Yeah. And
Lex, he's like an MIT scientist. And I was listening to the podcast, and like as soon as that dude had a Russian accent, I was like, can I trust him? I was like, I don't feel like this guy has my best interest at heart.
You're just going to discredit everything he says because of his accent.
No, but all in all, legitimately, it was a great episode of the podcast. And like, but I don't know what to believe. And I feel like the one thing for sure that has happened during COVID is no one knows what to believe for sure.
Yeah.
But everyone knows, like I would think that everyone can smell the bullshit.
Yeah.
And if it feels shitty, smells shitty, looks shitty, tastes shitty, it's probably shit.
Well, I mean, we've been doing this for 2 years now with the COVID nonsense, and it was originally like 2 weeks to stop the spread, and now it's just developed over time.
Well, like that Thomas Jefferson quotes, like people who will give up some of their freedoms in lieu of safety deserve neither.
Yeah,
like that. Like I really feel that now. Like, okay, the vaccine's out. Like anyone who was going to get vaccinated has gotten vaccinated,
right?
And if they choose not to, then
there's nothing that you're going to say or do that will convince them to get vaccinated.
The beautiful part about this country and the freedom that involves this country is that you can live and die by your own sword. And so because of that, the decisions you make will determine how your life turns out.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of this country.
Yeah.
Because what does Jordan Peterson say? It's like equality of outcome is not a good thing, but because equality of effort is not a thing. People don't put the same amount of effort into stuff.
Right.
So like, if you make good decisions your whole life, you deserve to be a multimillionaire.
Yeah.
And if you make bad decisions, like, no, I'm not saying you deserve to be poor, but like, because there's a lot of circumstances.
You just hate poor people, is what you're saying,
right? No, I'm anti-poor. No, but I like the idea. Like, we should help the people who need help,
sure,
to a certain extent. But like, I mean, it should be a choice. I think getting vaccinated should be a choice, and I mean, like most Americans agree. And that whole thing with OSHA.
Yeah, I mean, you should just question authority. Period. No matter whose it's coming from. But some people just go along with it. They're going to be told a certain information and be like, yeah, I guess that's it.
They want you to blindly follow and go, hey, we're from the government and we're here to help.
Yeah.
It's the scariest phrase.
Yeah.
Because to me, when I think about the government, it's like, oh, we're here to fuck shit up.
Yeah, 100%.
And then get you in jail for it. We're on your side.
Yeah.
What I think that was really lost in all of this is the government, like going back to what I said earlier, the government's job is to, they are representatives of the population.
Yeah.
And I feel like they've lost that. And they want to, instead of representing what the country wants, what the citizens of the country wants, they're representing what they want.
Right.
And then they want the citizens to follow what they want. And that's where it seems the shit got fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just scary that nobody questions anything. They just go along with it blindly.
The evidence of the vaccine should be so blindly, glaringly great.
Why aren't they releasing the results until like 30 years, 50 years, or whatever it was?
I think it was 75.
Yeah, that's
something like
insane.
That. Yeah.
For what reason?
If it's so good, it should be like, if I tell you, Tommy, that I've lost a bunch of weight, but I won't FaceTime you to show you that I'm like a thinner person. You know what I mean? You're going to be skeptical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but if I was like, hey, Tommy, I lost a bunch of weight, and then I like FaceTimed you and I'm just shredded, you're going to be like, oh, what is he doing? I need to do that. You know what I mean? Like the proof is in the pudding, and you can't just be like, no, there's proof in the pudding, and then just never show me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're expecting, blind leading the blind. And, I don't, it's a choice. I have friends, like, I've had doctors tell me that I should convince my friends to get vaccinated.
That's crazy.
And I've had these several doctors go, it's, the reason that there's so many variants is because of the unvaccinated people. And I'm like, maybe, but if you can still get COVID.
What doctors do you have? Because I'm going to avoid them at all costs. They sound insane.
I think the problem lies that they don't. There's a lot of information, and you have to interpret it yourself.
Sure.
And I feel like a lot of doctors have to go to college for like 8 years.
Right.
Everyone agrees that college is fucked.
Yep.
I mean, I say everyone, but a lot of people would say that the college nowadays is not what it once was.
Right.
And these doctors go to college and they, I don't want to say get indoctrinated, but
they adopt a certain viewpoint.
Right. And then the problem, okay, past all that. The problem is it's all made out of people.
Yeah.
And people suck.
Yeah.
Just like there's great people that do jobs, just like there's great presidents, there's shitty presidents. Just like there's great custodians, there's shitty custodians.
Yeah.
Like anything that involves people, they can be good and or bad at it.
Right.
And I think that's the same way with doctors, lawyers. People go, oh, well, he's a doctor, I need to listen to him. And it's like, no, they can be a shitty doctor.
Right.
And like, I mean, there's doctors that have amputated wrong limbs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they started to mark L and R on them.
Yeah. And but it's just, my doctors, like doctors specialize in specific areas.
Sure.
So I take everything that some of the doctors say with a grain of salt. Like if I'm seeing a doctor who's a foot specialist and he's telling me I should get vaccinated for COVID, I'm going to be like, okay, bro, you literally know about feet.
Yeah.
Like, and how much training do you have outside of feet? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Not much. So like, I kind of look at it like that. Like if Tommy is telling me how to, I'm trying to think of something like, how to be a lady, he doesn't have much, he has a little bit of experience, but not much experience in the subject.
Experience that you know of.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What he does on Friday nights is none of my concern. Yeah. But, I mean, you just got to look at, like, if you shouldn't get finance advice from broke people. You shouldn't get health advice from fat people. Yeah. And I look at it like that. I'm not saying all doctors are bad, but...
That's a fat phobic statement.
Well, the doctor... Well, whatever. I've been fat. I am fat. I've been fat, so I can say these things. But... No, I think that you just have to look at the source.
That's the other thing.
And you have to have this own thing in your brain where you go, okay, do I take their word as their bond on that stuff? So
yeah. And that's the other thing. It's like, you ever notice is like, they've never pushed, hey, maybe try a healthy diet. Anything like that. They were saying, oh yeah, you get like a French fries or you get a free donut for a vaccination. Yeah, like God forbid you actually like go on a diet. Maybe take care of yourself. Maybe boost your immune system. Go outside.
How fucking dare you?
I know, right? I guess
Take a
that's
vitamin.
misinformation,
Bro, the funny stuff that like, so social media exacerbates all of this because of their algorithms, because they show people more of what they want to see.
Yeah.
And what gets them and I guess not what they want to see, but more of what makes them interact.
Oh God, we'll touch back on social media algorithms. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah, you got something for me?
I got quite the interesting.
Something juicy. Okay, but like, so like, I've seen some of the left leaning stuff that's like far left leaning stuff where they're like, oh, people won't get the this is before it was FDA approved or it was FDA approved under emergency circumstances or whatever for the vaccine. But people are like, oh, the same people that are saying the vaccine isn't FDA approved are the ones taking vitamins that aren't approved by the FDA, and it's like, okay, but vitamins don't hurt you. There's no negative things of vitamins.
Yeah.
Like, if you take a vitamin D supplement that's 5,000 units and you only get 3,000 units because it's not the cleanest of supplement, it's like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're downing the bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're mostly safe, like, whatever. It's just crazy. Like, everyone wants to hear more about how they're right on their side. And I try my best to be a centrist on everything. I would say politically I'm far center because I don't like either side.
Yeah.
I think that on the right, there's a closed-mindedness to it when it comes to certain things. And on the left, there's a closed-mindedness to it. And I'm just like, I'm not heels dug in on almost any subject.
Did you ever notice, like, the past 6 years, those sides have, like, their own distinct, like, now it's so far between them that most people are, like, right in the middle.
Yeah.
But it's just
the
like...
silent, that's why the silent majority exists.
Yeah.
I have 100%, like... Okay, I'm 98% sure the reason Joe Rogan's podcast is as big as it is isn't just because it's fun, but it's because he is mostly a person that's on the center.
Yeah.
And the silent majority of people love that because they feel like he represents their interests. Yeah. Where his interest is, I don't know, but I can talk about, like, we can talk about things.
Yeah, and he has guests from both sides of the political aisle on his show to talk about stuff.
Yeah, if you're nice and willing to talk, he's willing to have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And, I think that's very respectful. And, like, he's had a ton of different doctors on that believe different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, there's a reason that a lot of people are taking information from him. And then just to watch how, like, stuff he talks about gets slandered so much when he was talking about how he took ivermectin as one of the things that he took. And then all of a sudden, ivermectin's this huge thing.
It's crazy how much they, like, downplayed that, and CNN doctored his video to make him look green and
Isn't
everything.
that crazy?
They were like, he's taking horse tranquilizer.
Or horse dewormer.
Horse dewormer, yeah.
And then it's one of the safest drugs of all time. And then, well, even past that, so say it doesn't work, regardless. Maybe it worked a little bit. Maybe it worked 5%, but it's still helpful. Like, the vaccine might have helped the same amount, but, like, it's whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like, why aren't they looking into, like, alternative medicine to...
Well, and he's had a doctor on that does, but that doctor, like he was talking about all the things that he was just saying there was a single approach to COVID that the government took, which is we need a vaccine. That's the only thing that can do this.
Yeah.
No one was looking about, like, pre-treatment for people, you know what I mean? And early treatment methods. The ventilators turned out to be a fucking sham too. You know what I mean? Like, people are dying on ventilators and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's sad, man. It's sad to see the incompetence at such a high level trickle down to everyday life.
That's the government.
Exactly.
Incompetence is the government.
Yeah. I think the silent majority of people agree that it's just, we just want to live our lives. We want to be left the fuck alone.
Everyone I know is over it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. We're done with
it. And especially here in Florida, everyone's pretty much going back to their lives as normal.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I feel like I've done everything in my power. I take a lot of vitamins. I work out really regularly. I don't drink that often. I don't go and do things where I'm around a lot of people that I don't know. Like, when I'm around friends that, like, I just try and keep my distance. I'm not, like, standing right next to you. Like, this is probably the closest I get to my friends on a regular basis.
Right.
I try and keep my distance from people. I'm not interested. Yeah. But to me, this is important.
Yeah.
Having these conversations, because I feel like, I mean, I'm sure you've had conversations similar to this before with other people, but I feel like it helps knowing that, like, somebody might be listening to this, and be like, yeah, that's how I felt too.
Yeah.
And they feel, validated by it, because they're not wrong for feeling what they felt.
Yeah. I mean, the sad thing is that most people I talk to at my job are either like, so far, they're like, I'm not even getting the polio vaccine. Trump is Jesus. And then there's like another side that are like, you're unvaccinated. You should be in jail. So it's, it's very hard to have a normal conversation with somebody that's like, yeah, maybe we should question, what we're being told and everything.
I think that so much of, like, I boil it down to like, I mean, you've been in a relationship for a long time. It's not just what Tommy wants.
Yeah.
And it's not just what Jennifer wants.
It's compromise.
You compromise and meet in the middle. There's a reason it's called the right and the left. It's because we ideally just want to go to the center and go forward.
And like I said, man, that's the way I live my life. It's like most people just want to be left alone.
Right. The silent majority is silent because they just want to be left. They want to live their lives, and they're too busy worried about themselves to worry about what's happening at the government.
Yeah.
So, I'm not. I don't know. That's probably part of the reason I'm not so interested in retiring anymore. I'm more interested in the idea of being able to retire.
Yeah.
And it's probably due to the fact that, like, I know a lot of people that retire and they just end up, it ends up not being there's just like this great like grandeur illusion of what retirement is.
Yeah.
And then when you actually get there, you're like, oh, okay, now I'm here. Like, now what?
Yeah.
And
Most
then-
people that are retired get bored and take up like part-time jobs.
Right. Or they they find a hobby or something like that, and I'm like, why didn't you just do that before?
Yeah.
And it's like I want, my idea of retirement is I want enough money to be financially independent to where I no longer rely on a paycheck. But I want the reason that I have that much money saved up to be because of the job that I have, be something that is so fulfilling to me that I have no desire to stop doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's the American dream.
Yeah.
Not retirement and then go to the hospital or go to doctor's appointments and funerals of all the people you grew up with, and then being able to travel. That's the big thing too.
What age do you plan on going out? Like, ideally, where you're like, yeah,
Dying?
Okay. Yeah. Obviously, we will never know. That's the whole big thing of fate. But ideally, what age do you see yourself like? Yeah, okay.
I don't know. 90s.
Jesus. Okay, so you want to live like a whole full life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to be around. I'd like to leave, some kind of like legacy.
Sure.
Like I have no desire to leave a bunch of money to my kids. I have a desire to have a bunch of money to where I could leave it to my kids, but I'd like to have taught them things that it doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I can donate it all to charity when I die.
Yeah.
Or I can just like, okay, upon my death, this entire stack of cash will be set on fire.
Yeah.
Like I do not want to raise kids that are dependent upon my money.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll change when I'm older, but as of right now, my idea is I want to be the best teacher possible.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
Do you plan on homeschooling your kids or bringing them like public education?
I'm torn.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think Jen and I discussed if we ever had kids, they'd be homeschooled or private school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's your reasoning?
Public education's horrible.
Yeah.
Especially
100%
now and
agree.
everything like that, where like they're trying to hide like the curriculum from students or from parents rather.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been through the public education system. I've seen what it puts out, and I'm just like, I think I probably know what's best for my kids.
Yeah, I think that what kids are being... I mean, I've talked about this on other podcasts. I think it's an old method that we have just doubled down on.
Yeah, they don't teach anything valuable later on in life. I
Right.
mean, the only benefit is I took a finance class, which was like an elective, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I know a little bit about finances.
It should be a mandatory class.
100%.
If there's a couple certainties in everyone's life, and I've said this on previous podcasts, is the couple certainties: you have to pay taxes and die.
Yep.
And in order to live, though, there's a couple other certainties, and one is having money and operating finances.
Yep.
Which, after you learn basic math, you should be going into personal finance and understanding taxes and understanding, money. Like, sorry if that's boring to you, you should have a basic level of understanding of that. Everyone eats.
Yeah.
There's no requirements to learn how to cook.
Finance, culinary, shop.
But not culinary, like just like food safety and cooking. Like not specifically culinary being like cooking in a restaurant. Like that's what culinary was for me in
Oh,
high school.
really?
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, we had a kitchen that was better than most restaurant kitchens. Like no joke, it was macked out. Like you walk in, everything stainless steel and like like just like it's not like a normal kitchen.
Oh,
at
our
all.
culinary, we learned just like how to cook basic meals and stuff like that. And I'm
Oh,
like,
bro.
that's how it should be. You shouldn't be, 26 years old only making pasta.
I was making gastrique sauces and beurre blancs and shit.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
stuff I don't even like understand. Most people understand. And yeah, no, we learned high end stuff, but like that should not be an elective. Understanding food safety should not be an elective.
Yeah.
But we're learning the Pythagorean theorem, and we're learning like the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Like, I've not used that.
Like a biology class would be good. Sociology, I think, is important also.
But basic levels of certain sciences, for sure. There should be a basic level of chemistry. But should you take a whole year of chemistry?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
You should understand. They should go, hey, if you put lemon on copper, it becomes poisonous. And that should be the extent of chemistry.
Yeah.
Like, here's things that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Don't do these things.
Yeah, don't combine these two or you will die.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I think what's really important that should be taught in like high school is a debate class. It should be mandatory.
Dude, communication should be
100%.
Just communication in general.
The best class I took was criminal justice. We had every like Friday, he'd come up with a topic and he'd go, around the class, year 1, year 2, year 1, year 2. We're going to talk about abortion. Year 4, you're against. Go ahead and discuss.
He didn't give you an option.
He said, I don't give a shit about your opinions about it. You are now against and you are now for. Go in your groups and discuss, and then bring your leader to the front and present your argument. And that was the best class I ever took, because it taught you like you can take a stance against what you believe in and hear other sides of the opinion without being like so emotionally invested in it. Yeah.
Sorry, I just keep hearing it like rub against the thing.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That should be too many kids. Like that's why going back to the whole vaccine thing, you're like, yeah, your mask. And it's like that's not how you communicate with people.
Yeah.
I feel like that would having some kind of class where you learned to effectively communicate would be a giant thing for society.
100%.
That would definitely help people out.
Yeah.
But the way school is set up right now is they're like reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not that, it's an elective.
Just the basics to get you on.
But not even basics. Like if how much of those classes like I took like biology, and I was learning about like lipids and shit that I still don't know what it is today.
Yeah.
Didn't know what it was in my freshman year of high school either. Like I don't know if I'll ever use that again.
Yeah. I think the idea is they give you this big like conglomerate of topics and stuff like that in hopes that you'll find a career or something, you'll find interest in something. Like people that took like biology and stuff will go into medicine, and people that excelled in mathematics will hopefully be engineers and whatnot. But
I feel like I've always said that I feel like middle school should be the transition from learning basic stuff into real world stuff, and then high school should be all real world stuff, teaching people how to be an amazing adult. Because somehow we're adults is the name of the podcast. Like you just like I don't know about you, but I had this like thing when I got out of high school, and I'm like, oh shit, like I don't feel like I'm ready for the like adult life, but technically that's what I am.
You're
now.
an adult, yeah.
And I was like, I have a problem identifying, as like there's a transitionary period after you get out of high school when you're like living on your own and you're doing all these things that like it felt weird being able to like buy a car and like do these things, and I'm like, I don't like there was just this weird thing, and like the school system, the way it's set up now, relies so heavily on parents teaching kids things that if there's a small cog in the wheel of that family, being that like it's a single family household, or sorry, a single parent household, and or maybe that parent isn't the best at doing anything, or maybe it's a single mother, but she's not good at math, so she doesn't teach finances to her kids. She can barely handle finances on her own. Yeah. Like that sets that family up for a long life of potentially having that same issue.
Yeah.
So like if the school focused more on making better adults, then I feel like that those kids that would come out of that school system would be much better at finding fulfillment in life and finding a career that they could be like self-actualized in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's not very focused on with the current school system. So going back to your original question, private school, homeschool, public school thing, I don't know. Those are all my thoughts surrounding the idea. So I would lean more towards the homeschool or private school thing. But then, there's things about income. Can you afford to do either of those things?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we discussed is like, if we're going to homeschool, obviously somebody is going to have to stay home with kids all day and everything.
You have to have your finances on lock.
It's almost impossible to have a single income earner in a household and like make ends meet, which is horrifying.
You have to live very below your means or make a shit ton of money and dedicate your life to a job.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially here. Have you seen the housing prices?
Yeah, it's insane. My last podcast was with a guy who's been a real estate agent for like the last 5 or 6 months.
Yeah,
and the average home price in this county has been ridiculous.
I mean, my parents bought their home here in 2003 for 120, and it's listed at like 360 right now. And I'm just like, how do you expect like a mid 20-year-old to buy their first home and put out a loan for $350,000-$400,000 for a basic ass home, a 4-bed 2-bath in like a neighborhood?
You've got to go to college,
okay, and get a useless degree and get a job earning $11 an hour.
You need $200,000 in debt, so that way you can afford to make enough money to buy a house. The idea, it seems to me like society sets people up to owe people money for forever, so that they can have things, so that way when they retire, people it's set up to where if you make $50,000 a year, you spend $49,000 a year to live, and they want you to just ride that line, and hopefully you've invested that $1,000 every year that you've made extra, so that way in 35 years of working for a firm, then you can retire, and then now you can travel, but you're unhealthy as shit because you hated your life so much that you drank every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You ate the most unhealthy things because that was the biggest joy in your life.
Yeah, just to get by. You took all your vices and you ate like shit, and now you're too old and too sick to travel.
You have diabetes. You're sick.
Yeah.
You get winded going up steps.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're like, oh, I'm gonna travel now. We're gonna get an RV, and then you go on an RV for 2 weeks and realize how much work it takes.
Yeah.
To go camping, and then financially, Garrett was talking about it on the last podcast. It's like, financially, can you even afford to vacation for that long?
Yeah.
Because now that you're retired, like, you're used to making a certain amount of money per year, and most people take a little bit of a pay cut when they retire.
Yeah.
And then now they have more time to spend more money.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. To me, there's more to life, and I've talked to Colton about it all the time, and I've always said, like, to me, the biggest things in life would be to have a life that when I die, and I hang my hat on everything that I've done, and when I think back upon my life, I want to be proud of how I've handled things.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I look at with relationships. One of the things I've said before is, like, you should treat the person you're with, like, for men, like, you should treat the lady that you're with like it's your daughter, and how you want your daughter to be treated is how you should treat the person you're with.
Yeah.
So, like, if you wouldn't be proud of yourself dating your daughter, as far as like a dude that was just like you dating your daughter, maybe you should fucking adjust how you operate.
Yeah.
Because that's, you should be proud of. I just want to, like, being that I got sick when I was young, I feel that like I've made it to this far for a reason, and I don't know what it is yet, but I feel like this, like, burning desire in me where it's like I'm built for more. I'm built to do more and not experience more, but, like, hopefully help people and I don't know. Maybe it's all just a facade, but
Would it help you sleep at night?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it's one of those things, like, I feel like I was like this close to dying as a kid because of all the times I was sick and stuff, and it's like now
you're here. It's like time to give back.
Not even just give back. It's like it's time to fucking make it all worth it.
Yeah.
Make it all worth it. And don't just live a mediocre life.
Yeah. Do you have this feeling that, like, no matter what you do, you're just not good enough?
Sometimes.
Yeah. I have that a lot. It's like,
sometimes.
It's like no matter what I do, it's like, I think because, like, I have this thought that I'm like, I always want to make my parents proud. Like, no matter what I do and everything. And, like, I can always do more. And that kills me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
you see that quote. I have the quotes. People who can't see it that are watching or listening, but I have these little like boards. Well, one of them's already only made. There's 4 of them. One of the quotes that's going to be on one of those boards once I get around to making it, which is another thing. Talk about think I'm not good enough. I didn't get those done. That pisses me off. But I'm working on it. To me, everything is like a drip.
Yeah.
Everything you do, like, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
I look at that in a multitude of ways. And one of those quotes is an Abraham Lincoln quote about discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And discipline's been such a huge thing for me in the recent years. And the quote is, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now.
Yeah.
And so I look at like the podcast as like that, because it would be so easy to just go, oh, tomorrow, oh, another day, oh, well, I'm going to do that. But to me, it's like I'm chipping away a little bit at a time. I'm not making giant strides.
No.
I don't have Joe Rogan's podcast overnight. I don't have Dave Ramsey's show overnight, but neither did they.
Yeah, it's small improvements over a long period of time.
Right. Everything, like when you talk about retirement funds, I mean, you understand investments, they always say it's compounding interest.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, most of it's like a hockey stick shape, right? So like, I believe everything in life is that. One of the things Joe Rogan talks about, it says before, is like, once you see the way in one thing, you see the way in all things.
Yeah.
And I think that's very true. Is like, decide what's important to you, and then work a little bit every day in that direction.
Yeah, get better every day.
Right.
Little by little.
Like, not every podcast I've ever had has been the best one ever.
Right.
Like, it's just, but I'm going to sit down, I'm going to show up, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put in the reps.
Yeah.
Because, when I first started working out, I'm sure it's the same way with you. When I first started lifting weights, I was not good at it.
Right.
I was not strong. I was not like, I didn't know the movements very well. I was kind of just like, oh, okay, I see that guy doing that thing. Well, that looks like something that might be beneficial to me. He's pretty jacked. Maybe it will make me look like him. But over time, I've gotten a lot better at it. I understand a lot more of it. I understand what when you mention certain muscle groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You just get more interested in it. You have to be, that's why that was such an important quote for me to get up first, was you don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great.
Yeah.
You just have to decide what it is you want to be great at.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, you go to the gym and see like, people that are struggling to like lift the bar and everything. And then it's so easy to just be like, that guy's weak.
Yeah.
But it's like, you also started there too.
Yeah.
It's like, you forget that sometimes. It's like you
Yeah.
work your way up, but
I mean, starting from humble beginnings, man.
Yeah.
Dave Ramsey, one of my favorite financial podcasts. Like,
yeah.
he started by selling books out of the back of his used car. You know
Do
what
you
I mean?
see people that are undisciplined and you're just like, it motivates you more?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, it's almost like, it's sad because most of the people that are not disciplined, quote unquote, are just people that don't take personal accountability.
Yeah.
You like Jocko.
Yeah.
And so many people do, but Jocko's very much a do it yourself, get it done. Like, you are responsible. Like, I guess that's probably why I like David Goggins, Jocko, Dave Ramsey, like Joe Rogan. Probably why I like them so much is they go, they essentially, the point of their message is like, you have the most control over what happens in your life.
Yeah.
Not somebody else, not the government, not the president, not OSHA.
Yeah, like I see people like, and it's easy. The problem is that when you're disciplined and everything, and you see people that are just like eating fast food every day. Like my coworkers will go and get fast food every single day, and I come in my meal preps, and it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I'm better than you, because it's like, yeah, I mean, I'm here, I'm putting in the work, I'm disciplined and everything, and like you're killing yourself literally.
Right.
But
yeah. I don't want to get at the end of my life and go, well, I don't want to get at the end of my life and wonder if I could have tried harder.
yeah.
So I'm going to like do the best I can with what I got every day. Like, one of the things I've been doing the month of January is running 3 miles 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So that's been a motherfucker.
Yeah, I did 1 week of the 75 hard before I got hit with COVID.
Oh, what's the 75 hard? Talk to me.
It's like a program where you're supposed to work out 2 times a day for 45 minutes at least. Each workout, one workout has to be outside. You have to drink at least a gallon of water a day. You have to follow a diet. Read, I think, 10 or 20 pages a day.
That is very hard.
Yeah, it's nothing like crazy or anything. It's not impossible, but
Every day, Monday through Friday?
Yeah.
Just Monday through Friday, not the weekends?
no, the weekends too. But so I think they have like an active rest day, obviously, because you're not going to be able to work out 2 times a day, 45 minutes, 7 days a
Yeah,
week.
one of them's probably like not static stretching. Well, maybe static stretching.
Yeah, you could do like yoga, or I would go for like a walk or something like that, just to stay a little bit active. And yeah, I did it for a week, and then got hit with COVID, and I was just like, and it's hard getting back into it because I had no appetite, and then I started getting my appetite back. I was at work, and I was just like, yeah, I'll just have donuts or whatever.
Yeah,
because it's like, I got my appetite back, and
yeah, you feel like you have to pack on the calories now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's so easy to lose discipline and whatnot, but yeah, I mean, you just get back into it.
Yeah. How hard was that first week
of the 75 hard?
Yeah,
not hard at all, actually. It was because you don't have to like kill yourself during these workouts. So I mean, I obviously lift weights for like about 45 to an hour a day, which is, I mean, it's intense, but it's not like brutal or anything.
Right.
And then
you get acclimated to it just like anything else.
And then when I got from work, I'd typically go for a walk or a run, and that was my other 45 minutes. So it was just adding another workout in the day because I was pretty much
probably
doing
made you
everything
feel
else.
better. Like going on that outside walk or that run.
Yeah, it was great, honestly.
Yeah, you feel like you're more focused on what you want. Feels like it's a good challenge to have you more disciplined. One of the things I'm hoping to do is do like a challenge podcast one of these days.
Yeah.
Where I'll have like a couple of buddies on and do like a month-long challenge, similar to like what
Sober October.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah, because I feel like that's a powerful tool.
Yeah.
Because if you and your friends, like we were talking about earlier at the beginning of this podcast, like competing.
Yeah.
Like if I see what they're doing and I'm like,
I'm not gonna lie to you. When you post that you run like 3 miles, it motivates me. I'm like, I need to add more cardio to my workout regimen.
yeah, I should probably post that more. Because I always wonder if people are always like you know how you say you question everything you do as being good enough.
Yeah.
So like I do the same thing. So like I would agree I do the same thing, but like I'll do that and I'm like, do I really need to post that I ran today? Like people are probably just getting tired of my shit.
Yeah.
But I'm like, okay, but I guess it's kind of cool knowing that even if it just motivates you, like.
Yeah, so
Get after it, bitch.
So like I'll post some of my workouts and stuff like that to my Snap, or like I'll post a physique update depending on like how I look. Sometimes I'm very vain and I'm just like, I look great. But
you're doing great, man. You're doing great.
Yeah, and Jen swears that like I'm having tons of women hit me up, and it's like it's literally like 2 or 3 guys that are like, dude, you motivated me to go to the gym today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's great. That's literally all I want.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I don't
you
care
do-
about attention from women. I just like, as long as I motivate somebody, like,
Dude, you
that's
motivate
great.
me. Every time you post like a picture of you like lifting weights, I'm like, God damn. First thing and foremost, I'm like, that is one strong motherfucker. Because like I remember like we used to go to the same gym.
Yeah.
And I would see you there occasionally, and it was just like, it was crazy what you would do by yourself.
Yeah.
Because like I would go with a friend and not even like I would be scared to do some of the stuff you were doing by yourself with a friend there to help me if I drop it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do this. Like, what the fuck, man?
You got to go to a dark place sometimes when you're in the gym.
Well, you're a dark person, Tom.
Yes.
But you were talking about social media algorithms earlier.
Yes. My favorite thing now is going to my Instagram feed is filled with single moms that post like half naked pictures. And you go to the comments of those pictures and it'll be like middle-aged men that are like so sexy. And they have like one picture. It is the worst possible angle. It is like from the front. And it's just like, you're a sad, like middle-aged man. And commenting on like some 19-year-old's photo.
They don't understand social media, Tommy.
It's one of my favorite things.
Those are the same ones that are just like, they're like dudes that are holding their phones up like this. And they're like, look what we're having for dinner.
Yeah. And it's the best. But
Mowed the lawn today.
It's also something I can't wrap my head around, that like these single moms that have like 3 kids will post a picture of literally exposing everything, and then the next picture will be like family day, and it'll be like them and their 3 kids, and I'm just like, how do you balance this? Like, your kids are gonna grow up and see this. It's horrifying. Like, it's
sad that social media has perpetuated soft porn to the level it has. What do you think about that?
No, not even soft porn, regular porn. OnlyFans is doing a mint right now.
Well, I'm talking about just like Instagram. Like,
oh yeah,
Instagram. Like girls that we went to high school with feel like they have this like this. It's this competition to get more eyeballs.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, like, if I post this provocative picture of this highly doctored photo where I took 35 pictures before I found one that I actually posted.
Yeah.
Like, just to get more people to look at it. It's like, man,
It's vanity. Everyone lives in vanity at this point, and everyone wants social acceptance. So whatever brings in more likes, they'll do. I mean, some of these women just like attention, and they're just gonna post, whatever brings them the most attention.
Or they like that dopamine hit. They like when a photo gets over 100 likes.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're obviously never gonna interact with that middle-aged man I'm talking about, but they love the comment that's like, "You're so sexy."
Think about it when you post you're working out and you have those 3 dudes who are like, "Man, you motivated me."
It's great.
Now think about it. Now imagine you post a picture of you and like 70 comments are like, "Oh my god, girl, you're fire."
Yeah, and
imagine that. Then you get this dopamine hit every time you do it. You're like, "I need to do more of that." And you're like, "Hey, here's my ass crack."
But it also shows like the sad state that we are in as like men. That it's like, yeah, we're paying $15 to see some random girl online. Like,
is it some random?
Ass. Yeah, most of the time it's some random. Now, sometimes it is, girls from high school and stuff like that, that But majority of the time, it's just random women, and it's just like, yeah, you need to get it together.
Well, like we all grew up in a way where like, as a society where it was like sex is this like taboo thing. Like it's like this like cushioned like thing, and then like
how old are you?
No, I'm being serious. Like no, like so when you grow up as a kid, you're like when you have your innocence and you're a kid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, it's when a man and a woman love each other. I'm like, not all the time.
No, it's
to make a baby. You can be very just mad. Yeah, and like they don't like. There's a reason that one of the biggest websites of all time is Pornhub.
Yeah.
Because like we're all animals.
Yeah.
And they want to act like we're different than like dogs fucking.
That's one topic that interests me is like addiction and like porn addiction and everything, and just like how like men are sometimes, and it's an amazing topic if you ever go into it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy because to me it's like it's this taboo thing that everyone does but no one talks about.
I don't think it's taboo at all, honestly.
No, it's not. It's not taboo at all. Everybody fucks.
Yeah.
Well, most of everybody. Like, I feel like, there's probably less people that drink water than there are people that fuck.
I don't even think it's that. I think sex is so common now, and like advertisers realize sex sells, that like everything is sexualized now. And it gets eyeballs. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, how many times, like, there's, like, it's funny, because if you, like, follow, like, working out stuff and, like, people that lift weights and bodybuilders and shit, so you get, like, ads for supplements, and it's either one of two things. It's a jacked dude going, here's my supplement, and he's, like, him taking it, like, rock music playing in the background, so that you get, like, slightly motivated, or it's a chick who's, like, here's my supplement.
Yeah.
I always take the supplement.
Yeah. And
they're, like, tits are all out and shit, and it's, like... You don't normally wear your shirt like that.
No.
You don't normally wear your shirt like that. But it's, I guess the target audience is to just be like, woo, hold up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's women that want to look like her and men that are interested in her.
Yeah. It's crazy how much that stuff kind of sells,
Oh,
but it makes sense. I mean, because we're all animals, but my thing is they want to act like that's not okay for I don't know, like it's not talked about in school. And like, remember sex ed class? Like, did you guys ever...
see, that's the thing. It's like, now it's very much talked about in school.
Yeah. But you remember how, like, our generation grew up with it? It was like, hey, man, like that was like when internet
I got
porn...
kicked out of my sex ed class because immediately it was like this video from the 90s, and it was a diagram of a dick that was like doing the DVD bouncing around on all things. And I cracked up, and my teacher was pissed and sent me out. She's like, you're not taking this class. And I was like, okay.
And it's been fucked ever since. But but no, I I don't know, like when we grew up, it was kind of just like you and your buddies, and you'd like go into like you'd get away from your parents, or the parents would be out, and you'd be like, bro, look what I found. There's people. Look, there's her tits. Oh,
well,
that was our exposure to sex growing up. Was like your parents tell you what it is, and you're like,
well, that's another thing.
Scared of it.
I talked to my coworker about this. Is like, we had gay teachers, right? We had like teachers that were lesbian and stuff like that, and we never like questioned it or anything like that. They obviously never talked about it. And then occasionally you'd see their wife, and you're just like, yeah, okay, that's their wife,
like whatever.
But now it's like teachers are like, no, we have to talk about like sexual identity, and we have to talk about everything, like to kindergartners too. And it's like, what the fuck is going on exactly?
Yeah, just let it be.
Yeah, 100%.
Like I grew up with some neighbors that were lesbian,
Yeah.
and like it was just normal to me.
Yeah.
So like if someone was like, you want to talk about it, like how do you feel about it? I'm like, fuck, they leave me alone. I leave them alone. Like they're nice people. Like I don't go, you know, Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve. Like,
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah.
Like I don't think that. Like I'm just like they live their life. Like I like pizza. There's some people out there that don't like pizza. I think that should be criminal.
Yeah.
But, you know, who you get married to should. If you don't like pizza, it should be criminal. But no, like who gives it? Like I like what I like. You like what you like.
Yeah.
We can be friends. But if you don't like me because of the things I like, fuck you.
That's like another thing with like the gender identity and stuff like that, where like people are identifying as they, them. And it's just like, it's going to lead to so much confusion in the English language. It's just like, that shouldn't be your opening thing also.
That should be, like, I guess that was why Jordan Peterson got so big, from what I understand, is that in Canada, in, like, the universities, they were saying that you have to use, like, legally, you have to use people's pronouns.
Or it's hate speech.
Right. And he was like, I have no problem with using someone's pronouns if they ask me to.
Yeah.
But the government enforcing it is where I draw the line.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. And he's like, that's a personal thing when someone has specific pronouns that they want you to use. So I will deal with it on a personal level, but you will not tell me as a government that I have to do that. And there's, you know, legal ramifications to it.
Yeah.
That's what's fucked
and
about that.
what shouldn't happen is teachers should not be teaching their kids about this or their students about it either.
Well, they should be like, hey, I don't know. It depends on how they're doing it, though.
I just don't think sexuality like should have a place in public education.
Well, they're going to talk about it one way or another anyways, I imagine. The students are.
The students?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like buddies. Like if me and you took a class in high school and there was some person who
No, we're talking about younger. We're not talking not high school. We're talking about like kindergarten,
elementary school.
pre-K,
Oh,
elementary
yeah.
school.
Well, you don't want a bunch of people that grow up and that are just like mad at gays. You know what I mean? I think that's what they're trying to combat.
Is that happening though? You think that's happening?
It definitely was happening before our generation.
Oh yeah,
It definitely happened before
well,
our
also
generation.
racism was happening during.
Hillary Clinton in like 2013 like didn't want gay people getting married.
Yeah, and that's an insane idea. Like,
Like who fucking cares?
yeah,
Like I don't care what religion you are. If you enjoy it, and as long as your rights don't infringe on mine, then we're good.
yeah. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, like it doesn't fucking matter.
Right. So many people are so controlling.
Yeah.
And I think this, like going back to the silent majority thing, I think majority of people are just, they want to be left alone.
Like I said,
and
like
quiet about it.
I just don't think it should be talked about in the classroom. I mean, like we never talked about it in our classroom and everything, but we just understood. And we're like, oh, that teacher is gay and she has a wife and everything like
It's
that.
like, yeah, I don't think you can teach kids morals in school.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, because to rely on the parents solely to do it is another thing too.
Yeah.
Because then do you trust parents more than you who would you trust more, teachers or shitty parents?
I mean, regardless, I trust the parents. They're the one that raised the kid and everything. Than I do an institution.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not convinced one way or another on that one.
Yeah.
But I am for certain that, like I said earlier, the people have the most effect over their own life or themselves.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter who the president is, well, to a certain extent, I guess. But if who the president is starts to infringe on how my daily activities go, that's when it, becomes a problem.
Yeah.
So, Tommy, anything else you want to talk about? Besides that you follow a bunch of single mothers that post half-naked
It's great,
pictures
man. I love it. It's my favorite thing.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I've got to pee.
I do too.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good time, right?
Yeah.
You want to do it again one day?
Sure. I mean, if we could come up with some more topics.
Well, I'm for sure canceled after this.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You said Indian instead of Native American.
It won't-
and then you said
YouTube-
you hated fat and poor people. So
Right. And then, so now it's not even, like, YouTube won't even let us upload this. Let alone pull it down.
And then you said something about Jeffrey Epstein, so you're on a kill list.
Listen, you're the one that made the shirt. Show everybody your shirt one more time. The Build Back Better
the shirt?
Afghanistan people, or the Taliban shirt. It
Yeah.
says Build Back Better. And Joe Biden delivering on his promises. Well, thanks so much for doing this, buddy.
Yes,
and
thanks
then
for
where
having me.
can they find you on Instagram?
Just under Thomas Hirtzel, Hirtzel.
Thomas_Hirtzel.
Yeah, I try to keep my social media very limited because
Yeah.
It's been one of those things. I actually try to minimize my phone and everything by deleting all the apps off the front and then changing it to like grayscale, just so I don't use it as often, because it's just like that's one thing. Also, before we end this,
Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine.
How much time do you waste on social media a day?
Too much every day.
Yeah.
All the time. Not all the time, but right before bed and right first thing in the morning.
Yeah, first thing in the morning is brutal. I waste at least 45 minutes before I'm even out of bed just
That's what they
scrolling
want, man.
Instagram.
That's what pisses me off is that that's what they want.
Oh, it's like crack. It's so like, it's just so natural as part of your morning to just like wake up, turn off your alarm, check your messages, and then just scroll Instagram. When I was sick, I spent 6 hours a day on Instagram. 6 hours of my life just mindlessly scrolling through the dumbest memes on Instagram. That's horrifying. It should not have that much effect on my day. Like, I could be doing so much more useful stuff in 6 hours than scrolling Instagram.
Social media is the fast food of the entertainment industry.
It's tough.
And I eat the shit out of some fast food of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I wish I could undo. And I definitely can. I have to have the willpower to do it. I'm trying to use social media as more of a like a business resource. Like I'm focusing more on promoting videos on the podcast and trying to build that up so that way I can do more of this, because I really enjoy doing this.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to use it as. Like, I follow a lot of like gun pages and stuff like that on Instagram, and I like some of the stuff that they put out. It's like cool pictures and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just use it for that. And then
it can be a tool for learning if you set it up if you know how the algorithm works and you set it up to favor that.
Yeah, the problem is that the algorithm just feeds you junk, and then it's just like scroll, and then you're just scrolling through memes all day, and it's just like, so what I try to do is cut down my social media. I mean, I don't have a Twitter, I don't have any like a Reddit or anything like that. I just have Snapchat and Instagram is pretty much all I use.
Same.
And I prefer to keep it that way.
Yeah. I don't want to get more social media.
Yeah.
But it can either hinder you or hurt you, and it's designed in a way to hurt you. You become the product, and they want you to use it more.
Exactly. That's why it's free.
They're not okay with that 6 hours enough.
Yeah.
They think they want more. They would get all 18 hours a day from you if they could, because they want to sell you things. Yeah. So, all right, buddy. Well, thank you so much for doing this.
Right,
I gotta
thank
pee.
you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you came on and finally were able to talk about it. I'm glad you survived
I'm glad the CIA
COVID.
didn't kill me before I got here.
Yeah, well, you weren't vaccinated, and
That's true.
And
Now
that's
they
a
know.
no. So, yeah, hopefully it's not monetized, so maybe I won't. Hopefully, I skirt right under the radar with such a small podcast.
I think so.
We're a micro podcast, like a microbrewery. All right, thanks so much for doing this, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, and we'll do it again sometime.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Thank you
buddy.
for having me.
All right, bye, everyone. Hello, everybody. This episode is over, but if you would like to support the podcast, you can head on over to the Instagram account to Somehow We're Adults and use the link in the bio to donate to the PayPal account there. All of the money that is donated will be used to make the podcast better. But either way, I'll keep it going. Make sure to follow the podcast where you listen to it for future episodes of Somehow We're Adults. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you all for listening, and I'll see you next time.